I'm not pitching you BS, but all it takes is 3 of them things, and you won't make it to your next plate.
The third layer is where we start to go beneath the surface. These are things that your common fan might not know, but your seasoned fan is probably going to be familiar with. I think if you're familiar with most entries on this layer of the iceberg, you can consider yourself a seasoned fan. And we're starting off with one of the most notorious controversies in the history of battle rap.
You bitches are softer than Suzy Q. Don't you get it? We made Jump Off disappear. Fuck you think we gon' do to you?
One of the biggest battle rap tournaments went down in 2006 when Jump Off hosted the World Rap Championships. They brought it back the next year, 2007, even bigger and better. It was a tournament many people were looking forward to and really excited to see the footage. However, when they held the finals in New York City in December 2007, the tapes were stolen. And to this day, that footage has never been released and never been seen. This is one of the most controversial things to ever take place in battle rap, in my opinion. Seemed like everyone had a theory as to who took the tapes or might have taken the tapes. Jump Off ended up offering $10,000 in ransom, but they never ended up getting to the bottom of it. This is the reason why if you watch a battle from the finals of 2007 WRCs, the camera will be more focused on the opponents rather than the person actually rapping. It's because you're watching B-roll and they had to piece it together as best as they could. Some people think that this is one of the big reasons why the freestyle era kind of died, so we might still be feeling the effects of this to this day. Since this took place, Marvin Quest have kind of leaned into the whole thing and said they took the tapes because they were one of the prime suspects because they lost in the semifinals. I personally never thought it was them, and the fact that they kind of leaned into it and said it was them makes me even more believe it wasn't them. My theory is much further down the iceberg, but it kind of seemed like everyone kind of had their own. But there was no shortage of motives. The judging in the tournament was honestly not that bad if you ask me. I think they generally picked the right winners. Not everyone agrees with that. This is kind of the case of rap battles to this day. Like a debatable battle will just be debated until the end of time. And honestly, if you look at the history of judged rap battles, King of the Dot used to put on tournaments. A lot of those decisions were very controversial. Not just King of the Dot though, URL also did some tournaments and there was some controversial results there as well. You can go back to the freestyle era and there was many controversial decisions, and you can take this all the way back. 1985, Roxanne Shante against Busy Bee Starsky at the New Music Seminar. And a couple years later, Melly Mel took on Mikey D in another controversial decision. I think it mostly comes down to bias and favoritism and then just a subjective taste. But generally, I think the WRCs were pretty decent. However, there was kind of some weird things going on during the finals. And again, I think Thesaurus and Ilmac deserve to win. I think that they earned it. They were far away, like the best duo. So the right guys definitely won in the end. But there may have been some funny business going on. Now, why do I say that? Apparently Jump Off had given the judges these weird scorecards to fill out, as opposed to just saying who the winner was. And then apparently there were some decisions made by the judges that Jump Off didn't agree with that they overturned. And then the judges start comparing notes and they think something weird is going on. And then the battlers who are rapping at the event lost faith in the judging system. This was in a private recording studio in New York City with just the judges and the rappers there. Maybe a few other Jump Off employees and things like that, but it was a pretty closed environment. So pretty much anyone who was in that room was a suspect. But apparently this would cause like the rappers would start asking to see the judges' scorecards after battles. Apparently it was just a big mess and it took a lot of energy out of the room, and one of the disgruntled parties stole the main tapes, leaving them with mostly B-roll. But I'm just glad they were able to salvage something because they're still watchable battles, to be honest, even with the camera off of the action. But yeah, I think it was the judge Craig G who straight up told Frankie Waps and Jay's Juice that the tournament was rigged. I don't know if I would go as far to say it was rigged or fixed, but I do kind of feel like there was just no point for those judges to be there. If you're going to pick your own winners, like that's your right to do. You're the one hosting the event. But it just kind of seems like you waste people's time when you bring them out there and then just override their decision anyway. So the main reason why people think Marvin Quest did it was because A, they lost in the semifinals to Thesaurus and Ilmac. So if they disagree with that decision and they already didn't trust the judging process, that would be their motive. And in their grind time battle against Dirtbag Dan and Soulcon, they had a prop VHS and they said they did it. So if that's all the evidence you need, then it was Marvin Quest. I think a lot of people do think it was them. But like I said, everyone kind of had their own theory. I'll give you mine in like part 6 or something. It's far down there.
That was a tough decision. There was definitely a lot of debate amongst the judges. We had to deliberate real hard on that one. I think they're still making the final decision.
I made my decision, but my decision is one of many, so I'm not, the authority on it, but my decision was my decision. We're going to see what happens right now, hopefully. So, I don't want to give anything away. So here we go. Let's dance.
It took a long time for the judges to figure this one out. It was a hard decision. but they came to one. And it's going to overtime.
Later.
All right, we back. Crazy turn of events. There's a lot of deliberation that went through. And basically, the jump-off officials made a mistake.
Yeah, we won, but we don't feel like we won because everyone knows it was the wrong decision.
I don't know what the judges are doing.
So 20 years ago, some battle rap tapes came up missing. Okay, and
the most important battle rap tapes of all time.
They were credited to be the demise of a battle rap league from London that was capitalizing on American battle rap in urban communities. From that, a black man.
Let's talk heavy.
Was able to start
to rise from the ashes.
A battle league that kicked off battle rap as we know it today. The New Jersey Twerks and the Tay Rocks and the Conceited. Conceited was found here. We've seen Charlie Clips on these states. Some of the most popular battle rappers in the world came from a league this black man started.
We never took the
hold on. Let me land. So, if we were responsible for this happening, then we would also be responsible for the maturation of battle rap as we know it today.
So,
a rookie mistake in battle rap kind of just refers to anything that you do while your opponent is rapping that they could instantly flip on you. This is usually in reference to somebody speaking during their opponent's round, usually when the person rapping actually wants them to respond, and then when they fall for the trap, it's a rookie mistake. It was the DNA versus New Jersey Twerk battle that brought this phrase into the battle rap zeitgeist, because prior to that battle, Ill Will had battled O-Red, and O-Red actually lost his voice. And since DNA loves to freestyle and flip things, he flipped that as soon as New Jersey Twerk gave him a chance, and the rookie mistake was born, something that you'll hear battle rappers say from time to time.
Yo! He gonna forfeit this round, and we're gonna spit it. And we're gonna spit this round. Cause once I switch Jersey, it's the low cut, the Black Mamba. Oh, you gonna say my bars right now? You talking through my rounds, this nigga so dead. Futuristic gunning and whole lead. One bullet to deactivate his voice, now we all red. Nigga, don't play. Stop talking when I rap, nigga. Don't do that. I'm here, nigga. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
Get this on camera, man. Word to my fucking American flag tube socks.
What?
If I catch you on the rooftop, you getting Billy Boondocks.
Disaster vs. Billy Boondocks refers to not only a battle, but a fight that happened on a rooftop. You might not know that these two actually battled. That would be because Billy Boondocks used to go by Mr. E.T., and they had a battle, I think in 2009 on Grind Time. The fight they had is much more infamous than the battle. And one of the reasons it's so infamous is because it happened on the rooftop during a King of the Dot event that took place in 2015. It was the Back to Basics event in Los Angeles. And not only did it happen during an event, but it happened during a battle, and a pretty memorable one too, because this happened during Carter Deems versus Ilmac. Billy was up on the roof with a bunch of other rappers, and he was trying to get them to freestyle battle him. And then he kind of just kept saying rap, kind of just kept yelling rap at the guys, and Diz just lost his temper and went after him. And if you watch that Carter versus Ilmac battle, you can see people looking around kind of distracted when they hear the commotion. I really think that Billy was really one of the funniest people like in battle rap. He was just genuinely hilarious. I can't recommend the watch episode on Ruin Your Day where he watches his battle with Disaster. It's definitely one of the funniest episodes, and it's very, very unfortunate that we have to speak about Billy in a past tense. This past November, Billy passed away due to asthma complications, and he was just too young. It goes to show how fragile life can be sometimes. Cherish it while you got it, folks. But Billy was such a G that he could have that altercation with Disaster and then go on Ruin Your Day and laugh about it. But he's also such a G that he got shot in a battle one time and was vlogging from his hospital bed talking shit on Instagram Live. I think that story might be on like the 5th layer of this iceberg or something like that. It's pretty far down there. Billy was just such an entertaining guy and such a funny guy that we lost way too soon. Rest in peace to Billy Boondocks. Lanez versus Lucas refers to Tory Lanez versus Joyner Lucas. It's more of a friendly type of beef that they had, but it actually kind of felt like a battle. It's close and competitive, but the guys were also responding like the same day. We're like pretty friendly with each other behind the scenes, which is something that we're familiar with in battle rap. Sometimes beefs are built out of animosity, but sometimes two MCs just, want a sparring partner. When at it, it was quite competitive. It actually started when Tory Lanez himself was on Instagram Live and somebody asked him if he was a fan of Joyner Lucas. Skull MC response, he said, Joyner Lucas is nice, but I'm nicer. Joyner Lucas laid out a challenge. Just love that energy. I feel like that's a sort of bravado that almost every MC should have. I liken it to being an MMA fighter. Like if you're not in it to be the best in the world, then someone who is just going to run over you. It's debatable who won this beef, and the fact that there was only 2 rounds rather than 3 doesn't really help. But definitely a fun beef that felt a lot more like a battle than other beefs do. Cage battles are something that Black Ice Cartel has recently brought back. You might not know it was the groundbreaking innovators at Grind Time Now who had the first cage battle. Way back in 2011 when they partnered with Merce of Hieroglyphic, and they were able to host some battles at the Paid Dues Festival. They had 3 different stages, and it was the Grind Time Now stage where they had a one-night tournament with Real Deal, Dirtbag Dan, Johnny Storm, Disaster. I don't know why they actually did this in a cage. No idea if that was an actual decision. It was like Slaughterhouse, the group performed that night in the cage, as did some other acts like Blue in Exile. Kind of just an odd choice, isn't it? It makes more sense for a rap battle, but I was trying to do some digging as to what MMA event taking place there, for there to even be a cage there, but I couldn't really find anything. There was no branding on the side of the cage where it would usually say Bellator or UFC or whichever promotion is hosting the fights. Maybe it was an amateur promotion, was any at all. It might have just been Paid Dues doing it themselves. That's what I'm leaning towards, but I couldn't find the actual reason why it was a cage. What's funny is about a month later, Grind Time had another battle in a cage, which was an event where they had convicts fighting policemen, firefighters, Marines, and things like that. Put together by Felony Fights, if anyone remembers them. Pretty similar to Bum Fights. A little bit of Grind Time foreshadowing. They had Cadillac Ron take on Philly Swain. Fast forward, almost 15 years and Black Ice Cartel starts to do their cage battles. Shows what a visionary Matt Hills was, so ahead of the game. Side note though, I would love to see more one-night tournaments going on in battle rap. Even in like the modern written era, I think it could still offer something, new and exciting.
Dame vs. Shaq is probably one of the dumbest rap beefs of all time, despite Shaq being a platinum-selling rapper who collabed with the likes of Method Man, Redman, Biggie Smalls, Keith Murray, Fushnikins, Eric Sermon, Phife Dawg, among others. Truth be told, he's probably a better rapper than he gets credit for, but I don't think anyone really wants to hear him in a rap beef at 50 years old, especially with Damian Lillard. It's so random. But him and Dame had a back and forth, and it's kind of fun if you're a basketball fan, but if you're not a basketball fan, you're just a fan of battle rap, it's probably not worth checking out. But they're both pretty notable people, and it's kind of rare to get celebrities on that level actually beefing with each other, so it earned a spot on tier 3 here, but not enough lyrical miracles for me to break it down any further. MOB refers to Massacre of the Bay. This was a Grind Time event notable for not only the battles that took place, but also for the fact that the venue got shut down by the police, and that's why Ilmac vs. Nestle took place in a parking garage. And it's also why during Arsenal and Disaster the lights went out. They shut the lights out trying to get people to get out of there. Then everyone goes outside, they try to resume Diz and Arsenal outside, and the police shut that down too. And then a couple years later, Diz and Arsenal actually rematched on King of the Dot, and Diz's last round was 1,000,000 minutes long, so they cut that short too. And the Massacre of the Bay event is just kind of a fun piece of battle rap lore.
But the first time we battled, obviously QP got into some shit. His girl busted somebody's head open with a fucking with her heel, and this bitch was leaking all over the fucking floor, and the cops came and they shut the whole shit down. During my fucking battle with Arts, like they shut the lights off and I'm rapping in the dark and shit. I was so angry that I continued rapping in the dark. And then they pushed us out the venue and they tried to do the other shit. Anyways, it only stayed 1 round. And as it was, that round that Arsenal spit was just so good. Like, I just remember being like, how does he rap so good, man? Yeah. Like, it was just so crazy.
Gun So Big is one of the most common tropes in battle rap, especially around 2015. It seemed like every battle there was I have a gun so big line. Now, I'm not exactly sure where Gun So Big specifically started, but there are examples from the early 2000s of guys rapping about how big their guns are. And if you look hard enough, you could probably find some earlier examples. But the specific setup Gun So Big, I really don't know where that started, I gotta be honest. Rum Nitty in 2014 had a great Gun So Big bar, and I think that is kind of what gave the trope a lot of momentum, but I can't say for sure he was the first.
Boy, I got a gun. Boy, I got a gun so big, I can't aim right. Security caught me dragging that bitch off the elevator like Ray Rice if you're in plain sight.
Madchild. So Madchild got famous through the group Swollen Members. You may or may not have heard of them. If you're from where I'm from, which is Canada, you have definitely heard of them. Like, I don't even know if I could put into words how big these guys were in their heyday. I swear I couldn't escape their music when I was a kid. Specifically songs like Fuel Injected just seemed to be playing everywhere at all times. Like, these guys were like probably the biggest rappers in Canada, or at least out of Canada at that time. And in 2011 at World Domination 2, Madchild took on Dirtbag Dan, who was a seasoned battler. I'm not sure anyone really expected Madchild to come away with a win, but he really did. A decisive victory against Dirtbag Dan, which is still a fun battle to revisit. And I really remember it like it was yesterday. I remember before the battle starting thinking to myself, like, man, Madchild could actually do pretty well in a battle if he just stays away from all that mystical dragons sword wielding stuff. And then his first line of the battle was, I'm an angel, not a demon, and I live in a black forest. And I was like, oh my god, he's gonna get bodied, this is about to get ugly. But then he came around and he shook the room, and that Colgate room shaker was probably one of the biggest room shakers I've ever been in the room for. Just a pretty fun battle. Dirtbag Dan probably should have got the victory in that, but he stumbled a little bit and Madchild kind of ran away with it at the end. Madchild then went on to battle Daylight. And honestly, another good battle. Like, I can't say Madchild is a top tier battle rapper, but he's an entertaining one. Of all the industry rappers, he's one of very few who could actually hold his own in a battle rap. And the final little piece of lore on Madchild is he was actually supposed to battle the Australian rapper 360. That battle ended up getting cancelled, unfortunately. And I think this would be the first battle with two platinum selling artists actually battling each other in a real battle. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And before you bring it up, Keith Murray and Fredro Starr was a great entertaining piece of whatever it was, but we can't call that a real battle. I'm sorry. Keith Murray also wasn't quite platinum, but who's counting?
I've been around the world with cats like Jizza Muggs and Ghostface. You battle and your parents write you checks for rent and groceries. I've shared the same stage with Snoop Dogg, Nickelback, and Coldplay. You've got a backpack with a toothbrush, a nickel bag, and Colgate.
Paying to battle is actually a pretty interesting one and might be controversial depending on your own personal sensibilities. Now, the truth is, the majority of battle rap events don't really generate profits. And if they do, it's quite marginal. And I'm not talking about major events, I'm talking about the events that happen literally every single weekend in cities all over North America. And I'll be honest here, I don't know which leagues do make battle rappers pay to be on their platform and which leagues don't. And truth be told, I wouldn't even put it out there if I did. However, if you are a battle rapper in 2025 and you're making your debut, I think it just makes sense to pay. And this is why I said it comes down to your sensibilities, because I know not everyone agrees with me, and that's okay if you disagree, by the way, but you have to think about the venue costs, like the filming and editing costs. Like, it's not cheap to put on an event, and if you are a debuting battle rapper, like, what are you really bringing to the table, to be honest? I'm not throwing any shade on anyone, it just kind of makes sense to me. But to be honest, that's neither here nor there, because this is the iceberg, baby. We're going deep. Some of you guys, even seasoned battle rap fans, might be surprised to learn that people paid to enter Scribble Jam. So that's nothing new. But what this entry is really about is there are battle rappers who will actually pay their opponent to battle. The most famous example is Danny Myers, who paid Rex $12,000. The funniest example is Q, who paid Caustic to get destroyed by him. Now, I don't pocket watch anybody. I want people to spend their money however they want to spend it. They earned it, so it's their right to do whatever they want with it. But Danny Myers was actually asked if it was worth it to battle Rex, and he said no. That did still get him a little more name recognition in battle rap, and he's still battle rapping to this day and made a career out of it, so maybe somehow it was worth it. I don't know. But it was definitely not worth it for Q, who immediately after the Caustic battle just faded into obscurity, so hurt his pocketbook and it hurt his reputation, and also probably just his pride and ego. But that's what you do when you enter the battle rap arena. You're dancing with the devil, baby.
Don't bring your girlfriend to the battle. Don't do that, bro. Let's go. You think your girl looks like Misty? That bitch looks like Miss State.
thought your girl was a beauty queen? That bitch would be Miss Steak. Yo, that's slut! That's slut!
DNA versus Disaster. This is an interesting battle, notable for a few reasons. I might be a little off base here, but I think this specifically is the battle that normalized really long battles. This was the first battle on YouTube that was over an hour long, and probably also the first YouTube era battle with unlimited rounds. It was just the last round that was unlimited, but the first 2 rounds were 4 minutes apiece, which 4 minutes does not seem long by today's standards, but at the time it really was, and you can just tell the look on Organic's face when he's saying it's 4 minutes on Disaster. Like, he almost couldn't believe it. Now, why else is this battle notable? This battle is actually the first battle Drake was ever at, and he co-hosted. And this was like a total shock to everyone in the building. No one had any idea, at least to my knowledge. And they actually played his music, and he walked out like a fucking WWE wrestler or something. And that really kind of raised the stock and profile of the battle itself. Within a few months, it was already one of the most viewed battles on YouTube. It maybe at the time was the fastest to reach 100,000 views. So many famous quotables and rebuttals in this battle, and although at parts it is quite dated, I think it still holds up as a very entertaining battle and one of the most electric battles I was ever in the room for. So Drake actually offered a few $1,000s and to have the battle judged. DNA thought like it was rigged or something, so he refused, and then I think Drake ended up splitting it evenly between them, which seems fair because I think people still debate that battle to this day. In the building, I think the feeling was DNA won, and then I think on camera Disaster won. But a classic battle, and definitely one you should watch if you're a battle rap fan and haven't seen it yet.
You know what's so crazy? I never say this on record, and I really want to know what Mook and Lux say about this. I do believe that me and DNA are the reason Mook and Lux came back. And the reason I say this is because Mook and Lux were kind of like floating around, and they were like, nah, you know, they were like putting their toes in the water and being like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't jumping in. They were floating the idea around that they were going to come back. Once they seen what me and DNA did with Drake coming and it blowing up, and they realized, oh shit.
Yeah, this shit's still crazy.
They had jumped in within 3 or 4 months of that battle. Yeah. Like they had came back. We got me, DNA with Drake hosting. Battle rap became the biggest shit ever. It blew the fuck up because of that battle. It went to a whole nother fucking level that it was not at before that day. And once that happened, suddenly we had Lux and we had Mook and we had everybody back, and Solomon, and everybody just jumped in. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm about to do is I'm gonna release all the battles that I got in my stash in a vote tucked away. I'm releasing to the public, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people has been asking what's up with the releases of the battle. I be holding the battles on purpose.
The Vault. This is definitely one that I have mixed feelings on. So the idea behind the Vault is basically, if a battle went down, it happened at an event, obviously took place on camera, it exists somewhere on some SD card or on some hard drive, but it just never gets released. They say it's in the vault. So the 3 most famous examples I would say are Conceited versus Young Ill, Roan versus, and the entirety of Cortez's career. I think Roan versus is the most controversial. This was actually a battle that happened on URL. You might be surprised to learn that Roan actually battled on URL. A lot of people don't know that because the battle never came out. Somebody that Smack was, as the story goes, they were really trying to give him a good push and promote him, and they thought maybe he could be the next star. And Roan apparently body bagged him, and Smack just never released it. I would love to see that battle, and I really hope that one day we do get to see it, as well as the Young Ill and Conceited battle. That's an interesting battle because I don't think anyone really knows why it got vaulted. It has its own entry on the iceberg, so we'll get into the theories when the time comes. But basically, battles usually get vaulted either due to poor performances or because bad audio or video. There's many, many, many reasons. For example, some people just move on from battle rap and they vault their own stuff, whether because they're ashamed or it's unprofessional or they just want to, whatever. Sometimes leagues will have a battle happen and they just think it's not up to their standards, so they vault it. And that's actually, I think, a reason for the vault to exist. For example, if Grind Time had a vault, it might have stuck around a little longer. For leagues, they can use it as quality control. In the case of Cortez, it's kind of just a meme. He's just had more battles vaulted than anybody, so he's just kind of been unlucky in that regard. But the sad truth is, I think a lot of what gets vaulted in the end becomes lost media, so I urge anyone to push whatever buttons you have to do to try to help get these battles released, because truth be told, some of them are important pieces of battle rap history.
I be holding the battles on purpose.
The round rap. This refers to a rhyme scheme from Cannon the Beast when he was battling Young Cannon, where he said the word round like 16 times. And I gotta be honest, I think it sounded pretty good, and I think it was kind of fire. But there's a viral meme of Bill Collector explaining that bar, because where the guy's from, apparently people call each other round, and then it cuts to a dude saying it's ass. It has just become such a notorious scheme. And even though that's a 10-year-old battle with 37,000 views, it's this high up the iceberg because of how notorious it is.
Bill Collector explains the wraparound bar.
In ATL, they call each other round. You know, niggas call each other slime, bull. They call each other round. So he said, it's a rap for you, round, and a rap for your round. It's a rap for you, round, and a rap for your round. I'll let a round rap around every rap around till it raps around. I'll let a round rap around every rap around till it rap around. This raps around. Cats, I rap around rap. I let the round rap around every rap around. How you gonna get around that? This rap around. Cat, I rap around rap. I'll let a round rap around round. How you gonna get around that? That's fire! That's fire! That shit was ass.
5002 refers to a diss track from Cassidy to Goods, and that's what Cassidy was claiming his battle rap record was. So his 5002nd win would have been against Disaster, and then his next battle, his 5003rd battle, would have been against Goods, and he, before the battle, released a diss track. The only ever Cassidy battle we had on camera prior to the battle with Diz was the battle with Freeway, which he definitely won, and some people definitely did think he was the best. There isn't a whole lot of evidence that he battled 5,000 times. However, there is one very compelling piece of evidence from the legendary Cannabis. Cannabis said he was performing a show and he was in his trailer, and apparently a 16-year-old Cassidy came banging on his trailer door asking him to battle. And then Cannabis actually opened his door and Cassidy starts rapping at him and shit. So Cassidy was really going around off camera, just battling anyone. And I'm sure he won at least most of the time. Who knows what his, potential battle rap record could even be, but that Cannabis story is at least a little bit of evidence that he was going around looking for all the smoke, and he definitely battled everywhere he could. Shout out to Cassidy.
I remember when Cassidy came to my bus. This is when Cassidy was young. Cassidy was young, man. Cassidy had glasses on. And he was young, and he's tiny. And he came to my bus and banged on the door at Smoking Glue store. Doom, 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 doom. I know you in there. I want to battle. Come outside, man.
What?
1998, Cassidy did that. And I didn't, I'm in my mind, I'm like, battle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting up to go outside, and I got Aguilar with me. That's Adolf. I had some other folks on the bus. So we get outside, and it's Cassidy there, right? And he looking at me and shit. Looking at me and shit, and in my mind I was like, "Nigga got hard," you know what I'm saying? And I don't know why he did that to me. I just don't know why. It made more sense than it would have been somebody brolic like a Freddie Fox or something, But it was Cassidy, man. So when I came outside and I seen him, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna do that because, you know what I'm saying? I Shorty was by himself. Cass was by himself too, and I was like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that, man, because he got a mother and a father, or a mother. Somebody is waiting for him to come home. He probably not even supposed to be there. You know what I'm trying to say? And so I just looking at him, and I'm trying to think of how to back out that door facing front. And then Aguilar was like, yo, you ain't got to say shit, bitch. I got this. And so Aguilar start rhyming with him, and they start going for broke with each other. And Cass was really swinging that iron around. And he was reckless with it, and he was talking crazy, and it sounded a real crazy coming from him, because at that time, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't no super thug, but he was talking everything, and it was crazy. And then Buster came over to the cipher, Adolf was doing the damn thing. Adolf was presenting issues and obstacles for Cass, but Cass was still spitting his shit, and he just kept rhyming. It like I could tell that, okay, we're gonna be here all day. He's like how I was. You know what I'm saying? You just got rhymed.
Yo,
all day.
Biz, how old was he?
Cassidy had to have been about 15, 16 years old. He wasn't an adult.
AHAT refers to All Hip Hop All the Time, which was early YouTube era battle rap league. This was in like the grind time era. AHAT had many of the most viewed battles on YouTube. And a lot of them would have weird titles like 16-year-old MC takes on high school bully or whatever. Just be some weird clickbait titles, but they were real battles. And you might be surprised to learn that some notable people got their starts in AHAT, like Danny Myers, for example. The face of the league was a rapper named Nove, but you might be surprised that other battle rappers like T-Rex, Cali Smooth, Emerson Kennedy, Disaster, John, Geechee Gotti, Daylight, JC, and QP, among others, all battled on AHAT. And AHAT had about 125,000 views on average, which is pretty notable. It's a small step below the big major leagues of today, but still a good number. And now it's a boxing channel. Sight Guy lied. This is something that's said a lot in battles. It was started by Charlie Clips in his 2012 battle against X Factor. Some people use it incorporated into their bars. Some people use it when they're choking to try to freestyle their way out of it. And New Jersey Twerk definitely had the most impactful Sight Guy lied moment, in my opinion.
But you know what's gonna hurt you? When they watch this whole battle and realize I ain't never crack a nose joke. Time, nigga. Say, I lied, nigga. That ain't me. Let me show you how to really do it. I'm strapped in. I'll clap you in the coma. Man, I can snap it in the coma. Fucking joking. You might just die. You can't wake up out of casket and say psych out loud.
Special moves. In battle rap, a special move is something that a battle rapper will do that's kind of like their signature that will get the fans involved. And oftentimes battle rappers' like biggest moments and biggest room shakers are during their special moves. Like, for example, DNA's Get Him the Fuck Out of Here versus Ill Will, or when New Jersey Twerk went strapped in against Averb. Conceited slows it down. Sue Surf puts it in subtitles. Averb, Showtime, Twerk gets strapped in. And then there are a few that are sort of ambiguous between being a slogan and a special move, like Suge, for example, What's Your Life Like? To me, the very first special move was Averb versus SB. That's when he did the first Showtime. That was in March of 2009. If you could find an earlier one, let me know. 50 versus Jadakiss is one of the few industry rapper beefs to make this iceberg, and there's a few reasons why. First reason is because, kind of in my personal opinion, 50 and Jada are two of the few industry rappers who actually have those battle type bars that could shake like a battle rap crowd. The second reason is they went back and forth just like a battle, and the final reason is Jadakiss's infamous diss track Problem Child, which is probably the closest like industry diss track that we've seen to an actual battle rap performance. It all started through Ja Rule when Jadakiss was featured on the track New York. They eventually squashed the beef and are now cool with each other, but it was fun while it lasted, and we got some good battle rap bars out of it. He wants to battle. This refers to a series of Queen's Flip videos. Queen's Flip is one of like the funniest guys, period, like to ever make battle rap content, and he has a lot of viral content. If you don't know, mostly he's like including his sons, and he's like beating them up in his car. He's featured on Joe Budden's podcast. He's kind of really known outside battle rap, but in terms of battle rap and this entry, he's has a series of videos where he takes his shirt off and runs up in battle rap's faces screaming, "I want a battle." He's done this to some guys like Murda Mook and Oon P, Goods, Math Hoffa, DNA, Cortez, Head Ice, O-Red, even Corey Guns, among many others. definitely worth checking out if you want to laugh, and some of the bars are actually pretty good, not gonna lie. Immortal Technique makes his way onto this iceberg because he used to battle, if you didn't know. He was featured on 106 & Park. He battled Poster Boy. He battled Iron Solomon back when his name was AM Boogie, I think. He also battled C-Race Walls, and there's a few other battles out there if you're interested. He was also featured in Grind Time. He, not as a battler, but he hosted a few battles, and there was a tournament that happened, and the winner got to go on tour with him. You would kind of see him around battle rap events in the freestyle era and then in Grind Time. He featured the battle rapper Pumpkinhead, also known as PH, rest in peace, on his albums. And he even brought Swave Seva on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Next battle. The showdown you wanted is the next battle is going to go down. We got our champion, High Collide. He's going to be defending the title against the Saurus.
And wow, nothing happened.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to go down in the next big event. These two are going to go at it. The winner will get the belt. The belt will be presented to the winner.
And wow, nothing happened.
Belt? You know how good that's going to look in my trophy. So y'all stay tuned. GrindTimeNow.com.
Titles refer to title matches, as in matches that determine a league champion. Some leagues have titles, some don't. King of the Dot is the biggest league with a title, although it's been a long time since they've had a title match. Major leagues like URL will tend not to have a champion, but oftentimes smaller leagues like iBattle will have one. The first title match was, as far as I know, it was Bartone versus Kid Twist on King of the Dot. High Collide and Surgeon General battled for the Grind Time title about a year and a half or so later. If anyone knows of any leagues out there that had a champ before Kid Twist and Bartone, let me know.
See, when Twist first had the title, it was the beginning days of this here movement. He came with that comedic style. People claimed he'd never lose it. Holohan quickly proved that theory wrong with a painful execution and went on to defend it against Jack Shit and win, and remains the only person to this day to do it. He lost it unexpectedly to Thesaurus, an American, which at first didn't seem like the greatest of solutions, but despite his looks helped push the league and bring a few new faces to the movement. Then Arcane happened. Well, that was strange and just confusing, so we're all happy when you took it, Bender. I'm not able to dispute it. But when I strip you of the title, there ain't no making up excuses. Just consider it another of the stages of improvement, because I'm the perfect package. Call it the chain of evolution.
Arsenal vs. T-Top is a battle that took place at URL Genesis during the Caffeine era. It is an infamous battle because Arsenal actually showed a video of T-Top's baby's mama performing oral sex on a man, which is one of the weirdest, wildest videos ever shown during a rap battle. Arsenal calls himself the king of disrespect, and that is his persona or shtick. Whether or not this crosses a line, I guess, is up for debate.
Hit me a little brother. Hit me a little brother. Movie quote. Hit me a little brother. Let me tell you something about hit me a little brother. Let me tell y'all something about hit me a little brother. He did the shit you said you would, you goofy motherfucker.
Hey, and all you niggas bringing props to win? I ain't with that. If Hana bring a prop, that bitch gonna come with a kickback. Soon as I lift that, watch the nigga load it up, that bitch gonna kaboom. Your brother gonna have to hold me up.
Show Out refers to Hitman Hollow's brother. He is always in Hitman Hollow's corner, and oftentimes he gets involved in the battle with either spitting bars or fighting people. So he comes up quite often in battles that Hitman is in, and even battles that he's not in.
You the type of nigga that I run up on, tuck my hammers, then fold you up. Once these hit, man, your brother will have to hold you up.
Hitman on Wheels. This refers to the rollerblading skills of Hitman Holla. I think the popularity of roller skating is probably more of a regional thing. But either way, Hitman Holla's got some skills.
My brother Loader Lux said he used to battle on the rooftop and the loser got to jump. So that's why today we're doing a PG, as you see, on the roof. Show them around. So the loser got to jump.
Rooftop,
This was not only the fighting arena of Billy Boondocks and Disaster, but one of the most infamous battle rap lines of all time was Loaded Lux when he said, "We used to battle on the roof and the loser had to jump," which actually led to some battles actually taking place on rooftops. At Summer Madness 8, Rum Nitty and Geechee battled on a roof, but we do have to make a special shout out to Lotta Zay vs. Saya Boy. It's a 2012 black and white proving ground battle that's sort of a cult classic and was actually put on the roof because of the popularity of the Loaded Lux bar. But that is not the first classic to take place on a roof, because even before Loaded Lux had that bar, the World Rap Championships 2006 finals in Las Vegas took place on a rooftop where the Saurus and Immaculate won their first of 2 rings when they beat What's His Face and Possessed, 2 bruvs who rapped it dark and put on some good performances, and they had 3 great battles with one of the best backdrops in the history of battle rap.
You don't know who terrain you on. The conditions we done trained along, traditions I was raised upon. This new shit here for chumps. That's why I'm up here just doing what I want. I used to battle on the roof. The loser had to jump.
Okay, Fredro Starr versus Keith Murray. This is quite possibly one of the battles of all time. This battle took place in 2015 on MC War, which is a league that I think a lot of people don't really realize how important it is to battle rap history. And the first I'm mentioning them on this iceberg is Fredro Starr and Keith Murray. Now, Keith Murray and Fredro Starr are 2 of the biggest stars to ever actually have a battle. Music-wise, these guys are bigger stars than guys like Cassidy, Mad Child, Immortal Technique, Joe Budden, Cannabis. These are the 2 biggest music stars to ever actually have a battle, and they battled each other in one of the weirdest battles of all time. It's highly entertaining, and I recommend anyone watch it. Keith Murray had a successful solo career and was also in Dev Squad with Redman and Eric Sermon. And Fredro Starr was in Onyx, so both these guys had millions of record sales. Now, MC War has a long history in battle rap, but they do things maybe a little differently or untraditionally. They do battles on beat, which most leagues are a cappella. I think in the lead up to this battle, a lot of people were expecting it to be a cappella, and it wasn't. They've also always had referees, or at least somebody wearing the referee stripes, literally going back 20 years. But I think a lot of people were also kind of surprised to see some referees. And then they were kind of getting pushed around, and they took it really well, and it did make the battle more entertaining. But the whole vibe was just different. And the end product is just a fun, entertaining, borderline train wreck of a battle. Now, I highly recommend you guys subscribe to MC War on YouTube, because they've been doing it for a long time, and those guys in the referee suits actually still wear those referee suits when they make their videos. I just respect it. They're true OGs. It's been 20 years. And they're also about to host Reed Dollaz versus Charlie Clips, which is pretty cool.
Shit, you about to be next up. This ain't that new movie. You ain't walking the glory road. Everybody want to know, so here's how the story goes. Smack called me. I was getting some head. He said, "We got a victim, and it might involve you getting some bread." I said, "What?" I jumped up. I pushed the bitch off the bed. I said, "Whenever, wherever, tell me who, he's dead."
Blank called I Was Blank. This is a kind of common framework of opening a round, and it's usually the first blank is usually the league owner, and the second blank is usually a sexual act. And it all originates from Murda Mook in his 2006 battle against Serious Jones. It's been redone, reworked, clowned on, and all the above ever since, and probably forever until the end of time.
Hold down. Let's go. I watched your 3rd round verse Old Red while I was getting slow head. So what? I watched Big K verse Old Red while I was getting slow head. I'm sorry for being outspoken.
I'd love to get you on a slow boat to China, all to myself alone. Get you and keep you in my arms evermore. Leave all your lovers a-weeping on the faraway shore.
Gladiator School refers to a very brief battle league by Snoop Dogg. Some notable rappers to battle were Rum Nitty, Calico, Daylight, Sue Surf, B Magic, Arsenal, Danny, T-Rex, and others, although they didn't have very many battles and had some very questionable editing decisions. The videos are up in parts on Snoop Dogg's YouTube channel if you want to check them out. Nanny Myers, this refers to Danny and maybe the most common angle used against him, which is the fact that he has many children. I would tell you how many, but by the time you watch this video, the number would be higher, so it kind of doesn't matter. This was most famously done by Pat Stay, rest in peace, long live Pat Stay. But after their battle, it quickly became one of the memes of battle rap and is many people's favorite battle rap bars of all time, and it's one of the best executed angles, I would say.
We almost around 3, and it's already off with the head, man. And I didn't even have to mention your 10 kids or that 12 grand. But damn. Come on, 10 kids? That bitch be missing periods like a run-on sentence, and I heard it. And I heard he got an 11th coming. Figured he learned a lesson from it. Maybe all your opponents pulling out last minute were trying to tell you something. Nanny Myers. Most inconsistent Plan B buyer. Could change a diaper with his hands behind him. Trying to convince the fans he's violent. You soft as a flower. Danny lying. Man, please. You home with, hey, he home with the kids? Family time and candy bribing, babies climbing all on him and their jammies crying to Bambi dying. Yeah, you be running the streets, double backpack, twin strollers, and one on a leash. Man, be quiet.
Use for Supernat refers to the classic 1999 battle between them at New Music Seminar. Now, the MP3 of this battle is one of the very early viral rap battles. And also at that time, CDs and tapes were still being passed around. At the time, it was definitely one of the biggest and most famous battles to ever happen. And it was just in audio format at that time. And it wasn't until kind of recently that the video of it came out, which is pretty cool to see. In terms of the battle itself and who won, the prevailing wisdom at the time was Supernat won. Although there was a vocal minority of people who thought Juice won. And now these days, I think through a modern lens, a lot of people do think Juice actually did win the battle, but it's still going to be debated. Either way, it's a completely classic battle integral to the history of battle rap. Salute to Supernat and salute to Juice. In the car. This is a very common expression used in battle rap. It goes back to when John asked Reed Dollaz where his guns were, and he said they were in the car. So almost any time anyone asks someone where something is, they say in the car. And this was Reed Dollaz's return battle, so it was a pretty big battle. First battle in almost 10 years, so pretty much everyone saw it, and that's probably why that phrase gets repeated so much.
Where's your book bag? Wall paint, the vests and ammo, the KO over the shoulder shit. I thought you was Rambo. What happened? What happened? Where is it?
It's a battle.
Where is it?
I can't bring it here. It's in the car. It's in the car. It's in the car.
This dude on the stage, jumping through hoops, rocking them Fugazi J's, isn't sick enough to influence the game. You not the real heir. Your soul showed us truth. You a fake who ain't authentic enough to step in the shoes of the great, but those are actually new. and I'm kind of matching you. But mine are classic, so I'm winning in this fashion too. I'll snatch your shoes. I'll snatch your I'll snatch your shoes. Go. I'll snatch your shoes, stomp out half your crew with one on each foot to leave them black and blue, just for kicks.
Fugazi J's refers to some bars from Iron Solomon when he battled Rum Nitty, and he was insulting Rum Nitty for wearing knockoff Jordans. Iron Solomon had allegedly showed up in real Jordans and used that as an angle against Rum in a pretty kind of debatable, was it freestyled, was it written moment in battle rap, and that's why I put it on this iceberg, because of that sort of debate. And I feel like that's kind of fitting for Iron Solomon, because that's always kind of been one of the debates against him. And the secondary conspiracy theory here is that Rum Nitty's Jordans are actually real.
I know you went home to record those lines, and to say whether it's written or not, I guess it's borderline.
NBA refers to an animated rap battle that the NBA made, done by Rap Off, which you'd probably know from Ketchup vs. Mustard, Dog vs. Cat. It featured Pass, Frack, Geechee Gotti, Ilmac, Real Deal, and Lou Castro. It was helped written by The Source and produced by Chase Moore, so battle rap affiliated all around, and that definitely helped make it fire. It was really quite viral, and honestly might have been one of like the most viewed like battle rap pieces of media, just like period. PH, aka Pumpkinhead, was a New York rapper based out of Park Slope that rose to prominence in the late 90s and early 2000s in the battle circuit at tournaments like Bragging Rights. He was a staple of the scene throughout the 2000s. You would always see him at Scribble Jam and WRCs, and in the written era he returned to Grind Time, not only as a rapper but as one of the heads of the New York division. And he was responsible for booking a lot of those early Grind Time battles, like Roan vs. DNA, for example. And DNA himself said he never would have taken that battle because he was scared to battle Roan unless PH convinced him to. PH was always doing a lot of work behind the scenes and pulling the strings he had to make things happen. He was incredibly well liked by everyone within the community. He really just seemed like a good person. Author Brian Kaser wrote a book about PH called Rock, Rock, Rock On, the Robert P.H. Diaz story, which features many interviews from many artists you guys are familiar with, including a foreword by Busta Rhymes. And it really stands out how highly everyone speaks of PH. PH felt like the first death that really shook the scene. And all of a sudden it was like the guy who was everywhere all of a sudden was nowhere. And the culture came together in mourning of PH. His return to battle rap was quite notable because he was on multiple Immortal Technique albums, which were kind of seen as underground classics, and he himself had an underground classic in his album Orange Moon Over Brooklyn. So to have someone around Grind Time in those early days who felt like an actual co-sign from a battle veteran and studio artist into the written era, on top of setting up the matches he did, he really contributed a lot more than probably a lot of people give him credit for. I'm going to be quoting Organic here from the book Rock, Rock, Rock On. He's the godfather of battle rap. Revisionist history is a crazy thing, and in my eyes, PH is one of the godfathers of battle rap and even hip-hop. As far as I know, PH is the only battle rapper with a street named after him. Rest in peace, Pumpkinhead.
This dude is gay. This dude is, man, fuck the jokes. Tula spray. Bah! Bullet as big as an avocado. This shit'll ruin your day. I'm so...
RYD refers to the production company Ruin Your Day. In terms of battle rap production and cinematography, Ruin Your Day is thought of as the gold standard. It's not uncommon in battle rap for video to be off or sound quality, microphone quality to be off. So you really need some people producing an event that really know what they're doing. And these guys aren't the only guys who can actually produce a good sounding and looking video, but they are the ones who wrote the book on it. You can find them on YouTube at Ruin Your Day Now. Lots of amazing battle rap related content on there where they'll watch and react to classic battles. Among other things, Avocado is the face of Ruin Your Day, and he has a series called Ruin an Hour where he talks about mental health and his journey to sobriety. Shout out to Avocado for that. This is easily one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time, and I can't recommend subscribing to them enough. Although Avocado is the face of Ruin Your Day, he has a small team helping him. He has Hot Air Balloon alumni Laughingstock, Bar Pong alumni Clayton, who has a tattoo that says "Time Flies Loud." And lastly, I think their newest addition is Levi, who stepped into a couple battles himself, showing off some really creative material, especially for a newcomer to battle rap. If you have spent any amount of time over the past 20 years watching rap battles on YouTube, you've definitely seen their logo. At the very least, you've seen members of the audience wearing their merch. And I think it's one of like the best battle rap related merch you can get. Great logo, good quality clothes. I get compliments when I rock it. Go to RYD or die.com. Treat yourself. Now, it's very, very unfortunate that the entire Ruin Your Day team is no longer with us. In 2023, Ben Hammerton passed away, who was an important piece of the team. I would like to highlight this one comment by Laughingstock. He described Ben as one of the unsung heroes of battle rap. Someone quietly devoted his professional life to the culture for zero accolades. A tremendous person, and one of the many reasons battle rap looks so good today. So I really just want to send condolences to Avocado, to Ben's family, his brother Jeff, Laughingstock, the rest of the Ruin Your Day team, Clayton, Levi. A couple years have passed, but I know that wound is still quite a fresh one. Avocado and Ben go way back to the 90s in Colorado, and they got their start in video production, making skateboard videos. If you've watched Ruin Your Day at all over the past couple years, you've probably seen an intro video. This video is of Ben skating, and the song playing in the background is Caved In by Atmosphere, which is a song about dealing with death, and I think that's poetically, tragically beautiful because that wasn't something that Avocado added after the fact. If you watch the original video made back in the 90s, that was the song they used, and I just think that there's something dark and beautiful about that. Thank you to Ben Hammerton for all you did for battle rap. The scene was a better place with you in it, and your contributions will not be missed. Rest in peace, Ben Hammerton. PG Step. So PG stands for Proving Grounds. This was on the URL for the up-and-comers, and in around 2013, 2014, that PG Glass specifically kind of did this weird thing where they would kind of look like they were dribbling an invisible basketball while they were rapping, and it was called the PG Step. The main PG Steppers were Steams, Prep, and Dre Dennis, with Steams probably being credited as the originator of the PG Step. And I feel like over the years, we've kind of seen battle rappers kind of be more theatric or involving movements. So maybe the PG Steppers were onto something. Math Hoffa vs. T-Rex is a notable battle for being the very first URL main event. Originally, Math had called out T-Rex during his battle with Dose. This battle ends up happening. From that point forward, the URL is a thing, and the rest is history. But this battle is extra notable because it was supposed to go down on Grind Time, and it didn't end up happening because the sponsor apparently backed out. Smack then swoops in, puts that battle on, and are immediately established as one of the power players and big leagues in battle rap. Some people think that the URL may have never been a thing if it wasn't for that battle falling through on Grind Time. I personally tend to think that Smack and URL would have eventually came around and it would have been a thing, but that maybe just expedited the process a little bit.
Y'all ready? Sorry, kiddo. Last night there was an incident.
Sorry, kiddo. This refers to the Don't Flop battle, Caustic vs. Jefferson Price. Before Caustic goes into his infamous third round, he tells Jefferson, "Sorry, kiddo." And in that round, he not only exposes Jefferson Price as being a serial cheater on his wife, but he also names the girls by name, or at least Uno Lavos did. This is one of the biggest and ugliest body bags in battle rap history, and Jefferson Price was literally never seen from again, and I think he deleted all his social medias. Walkouts is a bit of a double entendre. It refers to people walking out of their battles, which has happened a few times, but also occasionally battle rappers will do actual walkouts, like the same way WWE wrestlers will. I've been to several events and only seen that once or twice,
but it is a thing. But I think you have to be in the venue to see it generally. But if you look hard enough, you will see some and notice some on YouTube if you watch enough battles. The most famous walkout is maybe Jack Boy Maine is definitely one of the most famous ones. Daly walked out of his battle against Caustic. Daylight walked out of his battle against Roan. I think the most viral one was a Russian battle where a guy tells a girl her dad's a drunk and something like that, and she runs off crying.
It all started out because we were just bored. We loved hip-hop and had a passion for battle rap. It was something we did in the park for fun. It kept us out of trouble. We started filming videos that became huge viral sensations online. We didn't even know where it was going to go from there until we met Alki David and decided to throw the biggest battle rap event of all time. Walk with us on the road to Ether.
Philmon is the company that put on the Ether event. This is Cassidy's big comeback battle, and he battled Disaster. Also on this card, Billy Boondocks battled Rum Nitty, Ilmac battled Real Deal, Daylight battled Sirius Jones. But the event was ultimately seen as unsuccessful because the Cassidy Disaster battle got cut off before the first round was even over, and the venue shut the lights out. They eventually battled the next day in a parking garage, but the whole Philmon saga was just super weird, and I think there's some more specific things down further in the iceberg. There was a whole series called The Road to Ether, which is just one of the weirdest pieces of content you could ever possibly see. Philmon also put on the battle, which you can't find, unfortunately, Daylight vs. Cali Smooth, which took place in an octagon, and Daylight was apparently like twerking on Cali Smooth. I honestly kind of vaguely remember it. I don't really remember it, but it's lost media now, and the whole thing was just really bizarre. And kind of fittingly, back in 2014, Philmon introduced a young Tom McDonald to the world, so the whole thing was just cursed. The Saurus vs. Ilmac refers to maybe the greatest trilogy in battle rap history, probably the greatest trilogy. They first battled on Spin the Mic, then they battled in Grind Time. This battle was a huge deal at the time because these two were the most dominant battle rap team of all time. They won the WRCs in 2006 and 2007, the only 2 years they ever did it. They barely lost, and they were both Scribble Jam champions. They had all the accolades, they had all the talent and skills, and they kind of ran through everybody. So for Grind Time to put that battle together was pretty crazy at the time. A lot of people didn't actually think it was real. This is before pay-per-views or anything like that. You just had to trust eyewitness accounts of people that were there or whatever. And back in these days, they used to have upload schedules on their actual YouTube channels in like their info section. It looked a lot differently than it does today, obviously, but they would have a whole schedule of like which day each battle's coming out. And then on the day where it said Ilmac vs. Saurus, in parentheses, next to it said this actually happened. And the battle happened. It delivered on all fronts. One of the greatest battles of all time. Ilmac took a more personal route with it at a time when battles weren't that personal, and it definitely won him the battle. And there's a lot of famous quotes still to this day that people will quote from this battle, like "That was me" by Ilmac, for example. And then a perfect end of the trilogy was their battle on the Nicest, a compliment battle, and it's one of the, if not the greatest compliment battle ever. If you ask me, that is the first real classic compliment battle. Those two have a big piece of battle rap history, and the fact that they have a awesome trilogy together just adds to that. The trilogy of the trilogies. And another battle in that same vein that made its way on the iceberg is Pat Stay vs. Holohan. This is a battle that went down in 2010 on World Domination 1. This battle was even more personal than the Saurus and Immaculate, not only because they knew each other longer and were better friends, but they also had better dirt on each other. One of Pat Stay's most famous quotes comes from this battle. "Too smooth, y'all, the white Snoop Dogg. I can moonwalk with steel toe boots on." And Holohan's most famous line comes from this battle. "Don't act like you better, man. Both smoke crack from the same old Pepsi cans." Pat Stay's whole "so bad right now" thing. Just a classic battle all around. And this is a very important battle, in my opinion, for King of the Dot, because this was the first real homegrown talent King of the Dot battle that went down that could really hold its own against any URL battle or any grind time battle or any battle that was just out there, period. And maybe this is just my revisionist history, but that to me seems like the battle that sort of solidified King of the Dot as a real respectable brand and battle league that's capable of putting on classic battles and growing and developing talent, cultivating an ecosystem for it all to happen. And that's not to say that there weren't other rappers in King of the Dot at this time at that level. There was undeniable talent like Bender, but this being a classic and quality battle among two King of the Dot homegrown staples, it really solidified it and its place in the battle rap ecosystem. I think this is a great example of a battle that shows just how brutal but how beautiful battle rap can be. They were just two legit friends who I guess just had some shit to say to each other, and they got it off their chest, and they were friends afterwards, and on some level they were probably even closer because of this battle, and it will always hold a piece of battle rap history. This is the battle that really introduced the wider battle rap world to Pat Stay, and he obviously caught a lot of attention because his next battle was Arsenal, who was maybe the biggest battle rapper in the world at the time. That battle was huge for bridging the gap between URL and King of the Dot, and I think that's fitting because Pat kind of seemed like he was all about bridging those gaps. I remember this battle got like 100,000 views in the first day, and that was like unheard of at the time. And it probably never would have happened if Pat Stay and Holohan didn't put on such a classic battle. And when you look at the domino effects of Pat Stay's career, not only being the inspiration for D-Rec to start Grind Time, but in establishing King of the Dot as a legitimate top-tier battle rap promotion. Rest in peace, Pat Stay. Bender was a staple of the early King of the Dot scene, and if you ask me, Bender is the greatest writer and the greatest rhymer that's ever participated in battle rap. Most notably, he was King of the Dot champion. Alongside his friend and rapping partner Patience, he formed the group Flight Distance with DJ Calcutta. These guys made not only what most fans consider to be some of the best battle rap affiliated music ever, but some of my personal favorite albums ever. I can't recommend Bad Information and High Priest of Low Life enough specifically. Those two albums to me are incredible front to back. Bender was so immensely talented as a writer and as a rapper and also as a visual artist. If you're familiar with my channel, you might already know how much I love Bender and how much he inspires me. I already made a video about him you can check out, but there's a very special side to Bender that still lives on to this day that I kind of want to highlight. After I made that video, his mom actually contacted me and offered to send me a print of some of Bender's work, which I definitely accepted, and I proudly have that hanging framed on my wall. It's one of my prized possessions. But this wasn't something unique that she did for me. She's such a good person. She does this for everyone. In the song Sans Soleil by Chesky, Bender's mother handed me a painting of her son smiling. I miss the way he drunk dialed me. It really seems like it's a common theme, and she just seems like a really, really great person, and I feel blessed that she reached out to me. One day, Patience, the other rapping half of Flight Distance, will release the album Remainder, and that's going to be a good day. But they really don't make him like Bender. He was such a special artist, and I literally don't think a single person on the planet could fuck with him just in pure terms of rhyming. But beyond that, and being a visual artist, he actually was an instrumentalist and got his start in music in a band called Sunshine Dick Surprise, where he played bass, guitar, and laid down vocals. He was a jack of all trades and he mastered each one. Bender was just a brilliant artist taken way too soon. Rest in peace, Bender. Catfights refer to any time the ladies get involved in a battle and start throwing hands. Some notable examples are Miss Miami vs. Bonnie Godiva, Official and Coffee Brown, Miss Hustle and Coffee Brown, Miss Miami and Coffee Brown. I feel on like a per capita average basis, women might get in more altercations than men when it comes to battle rap for whatever reason. Stop the violence, people. T-Rex vs. Geechee Gotti. This is a very recent addition to this iceberg. This is a battle that was supposed to go down at Gnome 15 in New York City, and the battle started. T-Rex was rapping in his first round and passed out, and in a very scary situation, he was
like having a seizure on the stage. From what I gathered, it was because of dehydration. I heard some things like the venue ran out of water bottles, which if that's the case, that's kind of crazy and not the best look. It was actually during a really strong heat wave in New York City. And with respect to T-Rex, he's just obviously like wasn't in the greatest shape. And I think you kind of add all those things together, and T-Rex passed out during his first round. And it's really one of like the scariest things I've ever seen, like watching a battle live. It was really concerning, and we were all just hoping T-Rex was okay. Turns out he's doing good, which is great to see. Unfortunately, this battle hasn't been rescheduled. I'm not sure if it will or not. All we can do is be happy that the situation wasn't any worse than it was. And I will say I am a little shocked at how little bars that I've heard about this. I was expecting a lot more, but I'm not complaining about that. It's just an observation.
Matter of fact, fuck all that. I'll kill him with the word pulverize. Hey, I'll kill him with the word pulverize. Yeah, you heard what the fuck I said? Pull. Rise, and then he fucking dead. Cause your career.
Hold it down, y'all.
Cause your career.
Hold it down.
Cause your career. Cause your. I don't care about none of that.
Hold it down.
Pulverize is a classically clowned scheme by the rapper Show Off. He tried to kill his opponent using the word pulverize. And this kind of seems like another similar kind of thing to the round rap. A lot of people are familiar with Pulverize in this scheme, but aren't really familiar with Show Off as a battler. It's pretty infamous at this point, and not something that Show Off is probably going to live down anytime soon.
I kill him using the word pulverize. Shit. The day you spat that bar, the fucking culture died, bitch. I would have broken ties with everyone I socialized with, but you made a whole pulverized clothing line hit, and I bought a pulverized shirt. Because in this battle, I was fitting to use it. But he saw the order come through, and then he didn't approve it. You sneaky motherfucker. I guess what happened was his girl saw my name when she was checking through the charges. But she thought the bar was trash too, so she sent it through regardless. Yo. See, you only saw the downsides. He just saw the perks. He really sells these on his website. You're a genius, dog. It worked. Life handed you a lemon and you squeezed it on your merch, because who didn't hear that bar and think, I need this on a shirt? I know y'all may be on the fence because to understand it takes a lot of steps, but once it's emblazoned on your chest, it starts to make a lot of sense. So let me break it down. You take the word pull, like pull a gun, which is pointed down for the bar's sake. Then you add it to that's the sound that a car makes. Then you take that same gun, slowly rise to your opponent's eyes, add up the lines, carry the 9. Holy Christ. That is pulverized. Guys, it's been fire all along. Genius. Original. It wasn't a bad bar. We just needed the visuals. Attention battle rappers. He's got a brand on the rise if you want to capitalize on the trash in your rhymes and earn some cash. If you've ever humiliated yourself in battle rap, he'll make merch for that. Umbrellas with a D-Nanny purse to match, and why stop there? I'm thinking Ernan Nash shirts and hats. Go! He's got legendary stars getting cheddar from them bars. He got a Reed Dollars keychain that says it's in the car. And for them Trump-supporting fans, guess what the guy has for you? An Adi Boom jogger suit that says, I back the blue. Opportunity is knocking, so don't let it wait. Fightyourdemons.org, where you can literally own your mistakes. My man made shirts with equations. He's months ahead when he's dumping lead, so you might need a calculator for if what he said goes above your head, but I'll kill him using the word calculator. Man, y'all heard what the fuck I said? Cal! Later! Now he's fucking dead! Let's go! Fly, motherfucker!
Michael Strahan versus John Cena is a battle that I'm sure a lot of you didn't know happened. It happened on the Michael and Kelly show in front of Kelly Ripa in 2015, and she offered to beatbox, which she did, and Michael actually spit a little freestyle. He's obviously not a rapper, but kudos to him. He spit his kind of like Sugar Hill Gang flow rhyme, and obviously the crowd ate it up. John Cena went a cappella, and I think was actually freestyling also. Obviously not good bars, and then Kelly Ripa said a little bar at the end. And don't watch this, guys. It's really a cursed battle. But these 65-year-old ladies in the audience loved it, and it's for them, guys. It's not for us, all right? It's for the old ladies, okay? Let them have this one. Hustle versus Vixen. Y'all might be thinking that this is referring to their battle that went down on Chrome, but it's not. It's referring to a battle that happened a couple years before from the League Bar for Bar rap battles when Miss Hustle took on Queen Vixen. And this is a notable battle because Miss Hustle showed up to the battle with some enlarged photos of Queen Vixen's nudes, which is crazy. And also, Queen Vixen kind of seemed to just enjoy it, which is also crazy. Shout out to her. That's one of like the best battle rap moments of defense, if you ask me. Like, not even joking. Common vs. Ice Cube. Alright, folks, we're back to a classic beef. It earned a spot here for the quality of MCs. This battle stems to people on the West Coast, Ice Cube specifically taking a Common song, I Used to Love Her, as a diss record because they felt like the song was kind of about how, although Common loved hip-hop, used to love her, I guess the title says, on the West Coast they took it as a slight because that was when their scene was coming up and becoming like the major scene of like the decade. Being from Chicago, that's where Ice Cube thought Common was coming from on that record. Now, like a fun piece of lore is that the very first West Side Connection song was a Common diss. And that song was called West Side Slaughterhouse with an accompanying music video that featured them like covered in blood and stuff like that, like kind of like violent imagery. Common said when he first saw it, he didn't really want to go back and forth with him, but then when they continued to diss him on BET is when Common got in the booth and released a diss track of his own. And that song is called The Bitch in You. And we have actually Minister Farrakhan to thank for this beef getting squashed in the end. Apparently he made a real breakthrough and even got them to hug it out. So, you know, respect to Cube, Common, and Farrakhan for keeping the peace.
Snatch a Vanguard award in front of your mom, your first, second, and third born. Make your wife get on the horn, call Minister Farrakhan. Make your wife get on the horn, call Minister Farrakhan, so he can persuade me to squash it.
The Rap Game is a TV show hosted by Jermaine Dupri that is battle rap adjacent. I'll be totally honest, I don't watch this show. I've never seen an episode, but I've seen some clips of the battles. It seems to be like a pretty popular show, and a lot of the most popular clips are of the battles. So this show has featured some very successful artists. J.I. the Prince has millions of subscribers on every platform and millions of listeners on Spotify. And Lotto was featured on the show. There are international versions of the show. It looks like the last season in America was 2019. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more, but if you're interested in watching some of the most viewed English rap battles on YouTube, some of them are on the show. There's a team rap battle featuring J.I. the Prince that is at like 13 or 14 million views that K-Shine and DNA were part of. It's like a pretty well-produced show, although like the battles are obviously more watered down and the contestants do seem real young, so I don't know. Not my personal favorite battles, but they're pretty fun, and it probably brought some new eyeballs to battle rap as a whole, so salute.
You finally in front of real battle rappers where you get all your bombs from. I hope you got your pom-poms with you. I mean, you still LA bars so much, I might as well call you John's sister. You from Baltimore, right? Of course. That I don't play, and I don't care if you from Baltimore. My bars out of space like Saturn. You don't matter, because Detroit not a rapper. I'm only 12 years old, you 16, you won't make it. I'm 15. Well, then you won't make it till your sweet 16.
Fly Jay? You ain't even fly, Jay. You said something about me not reaching my sweet 16, right? Okay, well, I ain't got a license, but you really pushing my drive. You can catch this clean fade on tape like I'm pushing the sides. I'm a beast with my heat. It's as big as my pride. I don't talk, I pull cows. Meet me outside.
Tech Nine. If you don't know, there used to be a battle rapper named Tech Nine. He is not the Strange Music rapper from Kansas. They just share a similar spelling. And if you're ever wondering why on the iceberg there's no H on his name, it's because when he was coming up there was no H on his name, so there will never be an H on his name to me. I'm sorry. Or at least that's how the videos were titled. I don't know how he spelled it, but that's how I first got to know him. If you are unfamiliar with this story, ladies and gentlemen, this is an ugly one and just unfortunate on all accounts, and Tech-9 is definitely one of the biggest blemishes on the culture as a whole. Tech-9 was a very popular battle rapper. He had one of the biggest moments in battle rap ever, Summer Madness 1 against Midwest Miles, which still today is probably one of the greatest crowd reactions in battle rap history. And I hate to say it, but whether you like it or not, he was in classic battles. Now, one series I love is the Dark Side of the Ring on Vice, the wrestling documentary. And I feel like if there was ever a dark side of battle rap, the Tech-9 story would be episode 1. Because just beyond the battles, he also had a show with Jay Black. It was probably the most prominent battle rap show in terms of the bloggers, so he was very well known by the entire community, basically. And not just that, but popular and well liked. Jay Black still to this day is, as he should be, but he was close with Tech-9, which just adds to how depressing of this story is, to be honest, because Jay Black is the man. Shout out to Jay Black. So on March 25th, 2019, Tech-9 passed away. He committed suicide. And you had people mourning from all sides of the hip-hop culture: Lupe Fiasco, Kendrick Lamar, other celebrities, and the whole culture as a whole really came to mourning. So it was a self-inflicted overdose, and the news came out a couple weeks after he died. So at first no one really knew how he died, they just knew that he passed away. And then you fast forward just a couple days later, and the news comes out that he's facing some terrible, awful charges. And he was awaiting his court dates, and he committed suicide to avoid all that, basically. So it really turned out that one of the most sort of beloved, maybe not beloved, but one of the most popular battle rappers was just a monster. It really took everyone by shock, especially going from just in the span of a couple weeks, giving the man his flowers and being in mourning, to turning around and just literally instantly hating his guts. And then in general, kind of like Chris Benoit at WWE, people just did their best to kind of move on and forget about the whole thing, because it was just such an ugly situation. T-Top is maybe the only one who really capitalized on the situation with a amazing bar against Rum Nitty. So to this day, URL removed all of his battles. I'm sure they're up there somewhere, but I'll be honest, I haven't watched any of his battles since, other than I think I used one of his clips in the second iceberg, so I had to pull it up to get the clip. And I'm gonna put clips of him obviously over this, so but I don't even watch his battles at all. If you guys do, shout out to you. I won't hold anyone for enjoying those performances. I'm sure they stand the test of time, but just such an ugly, brutal situation that I don't think I don't really want to revisit him at all. I just kind of want to move on from it, just like most people. And to be honest, I don't even really want to give him his flowers right now. So I'm probably just gonna, that's it. Bye, Tech-9.
But you already fell, money. Have fun sucking the devil's dick in hell, money.
Fix this bag on your own like a self-checkout. Say it with me. Self-checkout. The cashier taking all day. Self-checkout like hotels after a long stay. Self-checkout like doctor visits on an off day. Self-checkout like Tech-9 before the court day.
Okay, moving on. Rome. Alright, this guy's pretty interesting. This is not the city in Italy, nor is it a misspelling of Rhone. This was a guy who used to battle. He went by Rome DMV. This guy did not have many battles. He had a couple, but he was more known for his presence in the culture outside of battles. This guy was infamous for many reasons, mostly antic type stuff. since it's fresh in my mind. Like, he lied about being at Tech Nine's funeral. So he used to be a battle rap blogger. It looks like he is now like a Survivor YouTube channel. I think he unlisted most of his battle rap stuff, but so he's notorious because he was on a recent season of Survivor, and people involved in battle rap were not surprised to see that he was very disliked. His most notable antic was it was definitely faking his own death. So he faked his own death, and then like no one cared that he died. Apparently he wanted to pull a stunt where he was going to come out of the crowd or something, but yeah, obviously it didn't come to fruition, and he just completely lost respect from every single person. Although he didn't really have respect, to be honest, before then. People kind of hated him. I don't really know the timeline here because I didn't follow this guy at all, but he was New Jersey Twerk's manager. I don't know if that led into him being a blogger or if the blogger thing came first or whatever, but just a piece of his chapter. But I actually watched the show Survivor. I thought it was kind of hilarious that he turned up on it, and he was actually a pretty entertaining contestant. Definitely not one that the Survivor crowd would like, but he was kind of eccentric and zany, which I enjoy those kind of train wreck sort of exhibitions. So I will say, shout out to Rome. Thank you for whatever entertainment you've given me, and I'm sorry that people don't like you.
Are you fucking joking? You might just die. You can't wake up out of casket and say psych out loud.
Organic battle career. If you've ever spent any time watching rap battles on YouTube over the past 15 years, you've probably seen Organic in the flesh yelling "rapper to my left." You may not know that he himself used to battle. He was a staple of the Toronto scene throughout the 2000s. He took part in the WRCs in 2007, and then he most notably battled Disaster at Battle of the Bay 4 in 2009 in Grind Time. And he was absolutely brutal. He was like just a visceral sort of horrorcore type rapper who wasn't scared to say like the worst thing he possibly could and get right in your face while he was saying it. Organic is obviously a great host and a great league runner, but when he was an active battler, he was definitely one of my favorites. Like the energy he would come with and the conviction that he would use to say like the most like violent and heinous thing possible was just really entertaining and always kept you on your toes when you were watching him battle. He was a really good rapper too, and he could freestyle. Honestly, I would love to see Organic do some rapping stuff again and maybe even get back in the ring. You honestly might be surprised. I think he could do really well on something like Beatdown. I'll show you a few examples of what made Organic such a uniquely sadistic battle rapper.
Round. Here we go. Organic. Hey, yo. It's a fucking murder fest right about now, bitch.
Yeah, so I don't give a fuck how loud you yell or how big your fucking muscles are. I can't even tell if you're trying to raise an eyebrow or buff a car.
I ain't got no sister and my mother is dead, so that was a disrespectful line, son. You about to get fed.
And this has happened. You all know how should. You said your mother died? Well, good. And it's sort of scary. Your mom died, and that's why I lost my virginity at the mortuary.
I don't think that's your rhyming, whore. Your teeth look like fucking diving boards.
Yo, check it. Yeah. Yo, he says my teeth look like diving boards. That's okay, you look like a walking spinal cord. Better yet, you can't rhyme no more. Your girlfriend looks like a dinosaur. Yo, I'll tell you what, it's funny. Your old bitch was hot, but she's fucking ugly.
I ain't losing again. You must have put down the crack for a hallucinogen. Time. Hey, yo, fuck you and your written verse, bitch. Your life is over. Fuck you, man.
Wow.
Hold on a second.
We gotta put Organics in anger management class, though. He gotta go straight to anger management class after the battle.
Hi, Jay Mills versus E. Ness. Newer, unseasoned fan might be wondering why this is on here. And you might even be thinking I'm talking about the battle that went down on RBE. Definitely not. I'm talking about the battle that went down on the show MTV Making the Band. You were around during the 2000s, you definitely remember that show. It was absolutely massive. The first season they had that band O-Town, and then the third season they let P. Diddy take control, and he made a hip-hop group, and it featured some notable characters that we know like E-Ness and Babs, and of course Dylon. And they actually put out a record that sold 600,000 copies, so Babs and Ines are among some of the highest selling battle rappers just on that alone. But the reason I added this battle is because I speculate that this is the most viewed battle of all time. Now, allow me to illustrate why I think this. So first and foremost, this show was watched by millions of people, and it had reruns, which would also be watched by millions of people. Like, so many people watch this show. And then you include like DVD sales. People still rewatch the show to this day. And this battle is obviously a part of it. And then you include whatever people watch it on YouTube and whatever social media sites it's up on. And I really can't imagine a battle that had more people watching it other than 8 Mile. Like, sometimes Kai Cenat will have battle rappers come and battle on his platform, and that's a huge platform, but way more people were watching Making the Band than Kai Cenat. Now, obviously, I don't have any like solid figures to just put all these numbers together, but I really do think that this is the most watched battle of all time, other than probably 8 Mile. But this battle was real, so 8 Mile doesn't count. Now, a small note is the battle that aired in the TV show didn't actually show the real highlight of the battle and the most notorious round of the battle, just because probably Jay Mills was just swearing a lot. He was saying "fuck your life" a million times over and all that, and that's still to this day a great round. And I think right now might be an appropriate time to give Jay Mills his flowers, because he's really a builder of the culture. Really, he had the very first Smack DVD battle against Sire Castro and won, despite Sire Castro not believing they actually had P. Diddy as the judge. Fun fact. And he battled Goods even before then. He also won this battle against Ines in the most watched battle ever, to me. Like, around this time, he probably had one of the most definitely iconic lines against Sire Castro when he said, "Hey, yo, big, am I trouble or what?" Then he went on to battle Mook, and I think consensus is he won that battle. So, like, around this time, he really was that dude. So he would go on to sign with Young Money, and he was on the song Bedrock most famously. And although these days we might not have him as high on our GOAT list as a Murda Mook or Loaded Lux, he really is in the same category of them when it comes to being a builder of the culture. And in the mid-2000s, he really was a certifiable Mount Rushmore type of guy. He's recently been generating some buzz from some diss tracks going back and forth with guys like Goods, and that's pretty cool to see, so shout out to Jay Mills.
How you doing, Chris Stokes? It's me again, JC. Now, you probably saw one of my videos already with me rapping, single and with my group, you know what I'm saying? I try to do it all, but this time, I'm dancing. And I even try to do a little acting sometimes, so, you know, rap, dance, you know, do funny stuff, so hope you like this one.
JC is an elite dancer. That's just exactly what it is. JC is an elite dancer. Check him out.
At least a week at leisure. Take off on a 6-day visa. Go to work on a spring break diva. Can't be boxed in, cooped in a cubicle. My boss is a square and the weather too beautiful. Ready to call it quits, but I feel so good I'ma call in sick.
Reed vs. Trigga deserved a shout out on the iceberg because in the 2000s that was maybe the most viral like acapella battle. Like the Reed Dollaz "Tu Berettas, I'm Rambo" is still one of the most quotable bars in battle rap history, and that's a bar that's been referenced not only in battles, but JID had a bar referencing that iconic moment. It's an absolutely classic battle and a must-watch for anyone who hasn't seen it and is a battle rap fan or is trying to really learn the history. And after this, Reed Dollaz was really seen as one of like the most popular and most dangerous battle rappers. And that's another thing that younger fans might not understand when they see Reed Dollaz battling today, is just how much of an impact he had. So it was really great to see him come back to the scene, and hopefully he's got some more classics for us. Nas vs. Jim Jones is a interesting little sort of rap beef that doesn't even involve diss tracks to my knowledge. And the only reason it's on here is because that whole beef got set off on D-Rex podcast. Don't quote me. And I just think it's funny how this one guest on D-Rex podcast just kind of created this whole big storm of Jim Jones versus Nas. Honestly, an entertaining episode and also a great show, so I'd recommend subscribing and checking that out. Compliment battles are, as the title insinuate, battles where you compliment your opponent rather than insulting them. As far as I know, the first compliment battle was Tricky P versus Definition. That was on the third day of World Domination 2 in 2011. In Halifax in 2014, Roan and Pat Stay did a compliment battle, and that battle is kind of what popularized the whole genre. Compliment battles can be a real mixed bag. On one hand, you can have really great writing and a classic battle like The Source vs. Illmaculate, and then at the low level, you can have almost just guys telling each other they want to have sex with each other. They can be really well done, like Big K vs. Eddie I think is a really entertaining battle, so is Frack vs. Geechee Gotti. But at the low level, a compliment battle can be really cringe to me, and it's not my preferred cup of tea when it comes to battling, but shout out to Roan for what he does at Barstool with the nicest compliment league, and they definitely have their place for sure.
I'm a driver and a shooter. I'm slick like Rick the Ruler. I'll put two in your medulla and then skate off on a scooter. Why bother lube out? Your guns don't shoot.
You wanna learn? I'm willing to teach y'all. Don't have me smack the back of your neck like a beach ball. Tripping well, I ain't tripping. $1 for my McDonald's, $1 for my chicken. Listen.
No gangsta rap, no gang signs or bandanas. I'm the best thing that happened to TV since the antenna.
Come on over here. Come on over here.
O Solo, the last level of rap, the most electrified. O Solo has earned a spot here for a couple reasons. First and foremost, he is quite popular. He's one of the most viewed battlers out right now. Definitely one of the funniest and most entertaining battlers you can ever see. He made his way on here for three main reasons. The first is obviously just how unique he is. The second is his cult-like following. And the third is his longevity in the rap battle game, which I think might surprise a lot of you. A lot of newer fans think his first battle was against Swave Seva. That was actually his comeback battle. And for us O Solo truthers, that was a big day. This is the battle where he created maybe the biggest meme, other than Conceited, in battle rap history, where he said 1 brings 2, 2 brings 3, whatever, you know the one. But his history in the game goes back even 10 years before then. For instance, a newer fan might not know that he was actually Freestyle Friday champion. He defended his title, I think, maybe 4 times, and then he ended up losing to Shavir. He really won the battle, but he got robbed. He really probably should have gone all 7 weeks and got retired. But people just weren't ready for the last level of rap at that time. His song Monster was featured in Madden 2008. And one of the really sad things about O Solo is, as far as I know, none of his Fight Club battles, except for a small low-quality snippet of his battle versus Nems, have never come out, and I think he had a lot of battles on Fight Club. And a little other fun fact about O Solo for you guys, the reason he battled Swave Seva is because they actually had a whole backstory where Swave Seva helped his friend Bishop Brigante, rest in peace, to get onto the show Freestyle Friday. O Solo ended up getting on that show down the line. He was supposed to get on, but Bishop got on instead because Swave Seva did a little bully tactics on O Solo, allegedly, and Swave even mentions that in their battle. But yeah, man, O Solo, he's the last level of rap. He's got a cult-like following. He's got one of the biggest memes in battle rap history, and he has one of the longest careers in battle rap history, despite a lot of it not actually being on YouTube or even the internet. He's a real OG, and he's one of the most entertaining battlers you'll ever see, and it's really great to see him still doing the thing.
All I want to say is, one of my niggas, bring 2 niggas. Then 2 niggas, go get 3. 2 niggas, bring 4 niggas. Then 4 niggas come back and alert me. 2 niggas, bring 3 niggas. And 3 niggas, bring 4.
4 niggas bring 5 niggas, and 5 niggas bring more.
I gotta break this down now, because I don't think y'all understand how this is one of the greatest bars of all time. Here we have O-Solo, the GOAT. You already got a problem on your hands. One of his niggas brings 2 niggas. 2 niggas bring 3. 2 other niggas bring 4 niggas. Then 4 random niggas come back just to alert him. They're not even a part of these 12 niggas. 2 other niggas bring 3 niggas. Then 3 niggas bring 4. 4 other niggas bring 5 niggas, then 5 niggas bring more. That's more than 35 niggas. How are you gonna win? How are you gonna win?
And you know I count stacks. All them haters down bad. Used to skip math class, but I still add fast. Learn from the work, wanna bag that. Terrorize the ops, never paralyze my cops. Running from the Johnnies like a marathon across country. Punk me, do I look like Travis Barker? But I get them drums clapping.
Okay, ready? I got it. We had a request for this beat.
You. What the fuck? Wait, hold up a second. Hold on a second. I see what's going on. What the fuck? Wait a sec. We gonna act like I wasn't gassing right there? Hold on.
Definitely gassing.
Wait, what was that? What? You said I wasn't gassing, Josh?
No, I said you was.
Okay.
I definitely said you were, but I've never seen a reaction like Suspects right now.
That was amazing, Suspect.
So wait, I wasn't gassing right there.
I fuck with it.
I wasn't gassing?
Fuck no.
You a hater. You a hater.
Uno vs. No Jumper refers to Lush One and his employer, No Jumper. No Jumper, I'm sure you're familiar with them. They're a West Coast hip-hop YouTube channel. They do podcasts and shows and things of this nature, and they've hired Lush One over the past couple years. So this refers to a clip that went very viral of Lush One rapping, and then his fellow co-host, Almighty Suspect, who is the son of Rifleman from Project Blowed, and I think the other guy's name was Poetic Flacco. They just laughed at him and clowned him, and that clip went crazy viral. A lot of people were making fun of Lush One, which kind of sucked to see, because even though he might not have had the hottest freestyle at the moment, he's still fucking Lush One. But this created, I guess, some real beef, or fake beef, I don't even know, but they made like diss tracks to each other, and I think they might have even like had a physical fight. I don't even know, but this is all just kind of stuff I know because I like Lush One. I don't really watch No Jumper unless it's actually something about battle rap. But while we're on the topic right now, I feel like I should say it's been getting a little more and more uncomfortable to watch clips of Lush One, and I don't think he is in a good spot right now, and it seems like his workplace kind of enables that because it maybe makes the No Jumper product more entertaining to some people. I don't know, it's tough to watch sometimes, but I think all of us in the battle rap community just want to see Lush One flourish and be good and healthy, so hopefully he can get to a place where he is, and hopefully No Jumper's not enabling unhealthy behavior. But it's kind of seeming like that might be the case, which is quite sad to be honest, but Uno's obviously a grown man who can make his own decisions. Shout out to Lush One, man. I hope he can find sobriety again. It was nice to see him when he was on that little run of sobriety, and I hope he can get back to that place. Pass vs. Hollow. This is a battle that went down at Battle of the Bay 4. Pass vs. Hollow to Dawn deserves a spot here. In my opinion, this battle went down on Battle of the Bay 4. The reason that this battle made it on here is because when this battle was released, it seemed almost consensus that this was the best battle to ever happen. And I don't remember that ever happening with any other battle. And I didn't even disagree with it. I thought, yeah, this is an incredible battle. This is the best battle I've ever seen. And this is still the most revisited Grind Time battle for a lot of fans, including D-Rect himself has gone on record and said that this is his most rewatched Grind Time battle. And you have to remember at this time just how less battles there were on the internet than today. For a battle to come out today and be the best battle of all time would be almost impossible because there's been so many battles and so many great ones that are already in contention for that. But back then, there really wasn't that litany of battles on the internet like there is today. It's quite short by today's standards and might be dated in some other regards, but if it's a battle that you haven't seen and you fuck with battle rap, I definitely think you should watch it, and I would consider this to be mandatory viewing for any aspiring battle rap fan. The most famous quote from this battle is probably Hall of the Dawn, Intercom, and a Generator, which is something that people still say to this day. WSHH refers to World Star Hip Hop. This was a very big, popular website throughout the 2000s and early 2010s. A lot of people will go on this site for fights or hip-hop content, but there also was rap battles on there. And this website is actually a big reason why rap battles became as popular as they did. So World Hip Hop was actually involved with Smack during the transitionary phase between the DVD era and the URL YouTube era. They did that one card where My Son battled Enes, and then you fast forward a year or two and they are putting Grind Time battles and King of the Dot battles on there. And the reason the first Grind Time battle to get 10,000 views got that many views was because of World Star Hip Hop, and that battle was Mosh Gelton versus Johnny Storm. And although 10,000 doesn't sound like a lot today, it was a lot more back then, and that actually gave Grind Time quite a bit of traction moving forward. And one could even postulate that without World Star Hip Hop, there's no URL. I'm not willing to go that far myself, but I do know that World Star Hip Hop was a very big part of getting eyeballs onto the battle rap scene during the early YouTube era. Remy Ma versus Lady Luck. This is a battle that definitely is well deserving of this iceberg entry. For newer fans, you might not really know, but this battle was really the battle that, in my opinion, got women to be seen as, bad as it sounds, like equal to men in battle rap. And that might sound a little crazy, but I really feel like female MCs weren't really respected the same way as male MCs were until this battle happened, and it was such a good classic battle. So from that point forward, people were willing to rock with the ladies when it came to battles. But it is not without controversy. The first battle had a controversial decision, so they did a rematch, and both of these battles were really big on the internet, and still probably to this day some of the highest viewed female rap battles, and still to this day gets debated as to who won. The first battle was on the Only Fight Club DVD. It's unfortunate they only had one. I wish they had more. But with Remy Ma and her, obviously the Chrome League, and her situation with Easy, I feel like it's important that we know Remy Ma earns her place in battle rap history. And I might be a little off base with my assessment because there was some freestyle MCs that were females that could hold their own most definitely, but I'm talking about in the acapella sort of written era of battle rap. To me, it was this battle that really put the ladies on the map and really got people, for lack of a better term, okay with watching ladies battle rap. So it was two great battles. Highly recommend anyone check it out who hasn't seen them yet. Adrian Broner versus Murda Mook is a battle that actually went down Night of Main Events 3. This was in June of 2013, and I don't know the full backstory behind this battle, but from my understanding is Adrian Broner was there at the event. He gets on the stage on a microphone, and he calls out Murda Mook, who's actually up on a balcony watching with T-Rex and some other guys, and Adrian Broner calls Murda Mook out, and then when he offers money, Murda Mook starts putting bars together, and T-Rex even comes over and gives him a bar. And then Murda Mook actually gets on stage, and he spits those bars, and he does battle Broner in a one-round battle. I don't know if it's longer than that, but there's only one round on the internet. And I actually find it to be a pretty interesting look into how battle rappers come up with bars, because as soon as T-Rex and Murda Mook are put on the spot, they just come up with them kind of naturally. And I think if Mook spat the bar T-Rex gave him, it could have shook the room. Now, obviously, there's going to be questions as to whether or not this was a publicity stunt. I personally have no idea if Murda Mook knew ahead of time, but I'll choose to be an optimist and choose to believe that this was all unplanned. One thing to me that does make it seem like it wasn't planned was Smack seems to be in a bit of a rush to get to the next battle, as soon as Adrian Broner is done rapping. I will say Adrian Broner, I think, did really well for a first-timer. He projected really well. He had pretty good crowd control. The material was definitely good for a first-timer, and honestly pretty impressive that he was able to go in there and not only hold his own against Murdamook, but I think a lot of people think he won. In fact, I feel like the majority of people think he won. Adrian Broner is not the first athlete to step into a battle or even rapping, but he's definitely one of the more impressive ones, that's for sure. And I feel like it's a little bit important to note here that this battle actually took place while he was world champion, and he was ranked in the top 10 of the pound for pound list at the time. So this wasn't just some, random pro boxer. It was literally the best in the world in his weight class. So it was a pretty cool moment, and I do find it a little unfortunate that there was no official footage released. All we get is some people who were there thankfully recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube. So that's kind of all we have for it, but it's still a cool and interesting piece of battle rap history.
I beat him.
It ended up being an actual battle.
I beat Murdamook too, and you know that. That's why you keep begging for your rematch, and you ain't getting it. I beat you. I beat Mook.
Hype man refers to the famous hype man of battle rap, most famously the one that was parodied on Key and Peele. There's been some pretty notorious hype men within the battle rap community like T-Rexes, Conceiteds, O-Solos, but Key and Peele parodying Young Steady's hype man takes it to a whole nother level in terms of infamy. Hype man can be good or bad. If you have a good one, it can definitely boost your performance. If you have a bad one, it can just be a bad look and embarrassing all around. I think Tay-Rock and K-Shine and T-Rex are examples of a good hype man, and they'll bring energy to the corner of the battle rapper performing that I think anyone would be lucky to have, and it's definitely an asset in helping them win a battle, but a bad one can also help you lose a battle for sure.
What the fuck? You forgot who I am? Nigga, I shine like the glove that's on Mike's hand. I can never die. I got a battle rap lifespan. Get that nigga Rex. I never treated you like a hype man.
Did enough. This refers to one of the most famous stories in battle rap folklore, as the St. Louis story or the O-Red story. And as it goes, there were several battle rappers staying in the same house. Two main characters involved here are O-Red and Calico. And you can choose to believe what's true or what isn't true. I'm just going off what is said in battles and what the quote story is. I don't know how much of this is true, but enough of it is true for it to have staying power and for people to believe it. Basically, the battle rappers are out, and you can watch Hitman Holla against O-Red, where he details what happens to get to the house. Apparently, O-Red gets this girl's number. That's great. And then they have a party that night. O-Red invites that girl. She brings a friend. Her friend ends up hooking up with Conceited. O-Red, obviously, is supposed to hook up with the girl whose number he got. But one way or another, Calico finessed his girl from him, and Calico ends up hooking up with her. So Calico is getting domed up, and according to Conceited on Vlad TV, a bunch of people opened the door on them or something and ran into the room. I don't know if this was during or after Calico, finished his business, but apparently this upset the girl and she was crying. And O-Red follows her outside to comfort her, which honestly, something for sure you're going to get clowned on in a battle, but not something I'm going to clown on him for. That's kind of just a gentleman thing to do. And then when Calico finds out she was crying outside, he went outside to go comfort her. And O-Red stopped him, put his hand in front of him, and said, "Cal, you've done enough." Which, given the context, is a pretty hilarious thing to say and does sound like a hilarious moment. When Calico battled O-Red, he told O-Red that he saw him kissing her outside. It's the part of the story that I don't believe. I can't imagine anyone doing that. Because as Gwitty would say, that's nasty. Hey, to each their own. The long and short of it is battle rappers in St. Louis are having a house party. O-Red's supposed to hook up with this one girl and Calico finesses her. Calico ends up getting his dick sucked by her. And then allegedly O-Red
comforts her outside, and kisses her on the mouth. In terms of what is actually true there and what is played up just for the battle rap bars is going to be up to you. I think this is one of those stories that's rooted in truth but isn't entirely true. It's one of the pieces of battle rap folklore and one of the most retold battle rap stories, period.
I'm sorry for letting this shit happen. You know, all on that other stuff. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go talk to the bitch. She crying. He stopped me and said, Cal, you've done enough.
She is for the streets with a K. She for the streets, Red. Stop. Favorite Red had his fucking cape on in there, bro.
Yo.
He told me I've done enough, bro. I've never even heard a black man drunk off liquor in the middle of the night use the V and the E on Ive. The fact that it's 3 a.m. and we got bitches here and everybody drinking and you use the V and the E on you've, you're serious.
You've.
He said, you've done enough, Cal. I said, you gonna pronunciate all of that? You right, I'm out of here.
Yeah. He must, yeah.
He was serious, bro. He could have just said, you done enough, bro. You did enough, bro. He said, you've. I knew it was serious, bro.
Damn. The chick said he was banging and kicked the door.
I kind of felt like he kicked the door in to hate on me, but I'm so player, I put the niggas out the room and went back to fucking her.
Yo.
She was embarrassed, though. After she walked out, did the walk of shame. I feel like she was just embarrassed a little bit, like, especially
she was
when the nigga sitting there telling you shit that
said something.
That's what I'm saying. You got a nigga right there saying shit.
Yeah.
You got a nigga right there that's saying shit that makes sense. Like, Red said shit that make too much sense to her. Like, you don't even got to do this. You don't even have to fuck nobody here tonight. She like, damn, that makes sense.
Battle rap is dead is kind of an interesting one. It's a narrative that has been picking up steam over the past year or so, and it's something that people have been saying. Here are my thoughts. I think a lot of people have lost some excitement for battle rap due to the oversaturation of events and battles being put on the internet. If you think back in, say, 2012, you could watch every single rap battle that came out. No one could possibly watch every single rap battle that comes out in 2026. It's just not possible. So you can't have all the context. You can't know all the characters at play here. And on top of that, events were fewer and far in between. So you knew exactly what events were going to happen, and there weren't that many in comparison to today. This means that every single battle back then just had more inherent excitement behind it, and events just were more hyped up by the community. Does this mean battle rap is dead? Honestly, no. To me, it doesn't at all. The fact that there's events happening everywhere means it's less monopolized, and it kind of means to me that it's thriving. Not every battle needs to have 1 million views. Like, there was a time before YouTube when battles took place not even on cameras, and battle rap wasn't dead. Pretty much the whole entire battle rap community in 2009 was amazed that Dumbfounded vs. Tantrum reached 100,000 views. That was a crazy number to people. And to have this context, to turn around and say battle rap is dead when it's generating more battles, events, and rappers in more cities now than ever, to say it's dead, to me, that's silly. Okay, now why else do people think battle rap is dead? Well, guys no-show battles, and oftentimes when guys do show up, they show up unprepared and they choke. Okay, I agree with you, that's not good, but that's been a part of battle rap since the start. Literally 8 Mile is about a guy choking. I think the URL app is another reason people think that battle rap is dying, but like, battle rap doesn't live on YouTube. It doesn't live and die by YouTube. Battles not being dropped on YouTube doesn't mean battle rap is dead. I don't really get that. I'm old enough to remember when battles were on DVDs. Like, the original Smack DVDs were behind a paywall. So, like, not being able to just click on any rap battle, that to me doesn't mean it's dead. Another reason is there are few matchups left, as in so many of the great rap battle matchups have already been put together. This one I can kind of see, I can kind of understand it, because there is no normal thing. Like, a rematch generally doesn't happen in battle rap, so once a battle happens, that's kind of seen as it. But there is still so many dream battles out there. I mean, Mook versus Briz, Loaded Lux versus Daylight, Loaded Lux versus DNA, Surf versus a lot of people, Surf vs. Briz is something I want to see. I don't think I'll ever see it. Like, there's always going to be enough matchups out there, and there's always going to be enough battle rappers that there's always going to be enough matchups to put on. That's just the fact. And being a fan coming from the freestyle era, rematches don't bother me. I'm kind of used to watching rematches. They're totally fine. We can totally make rematches. And then there's always going to be new guys. Like, I don't know if Jay the Nightwing or Real Sick will ever get to battle Mook, but they're good enough to, that's for sure, in my opinion. But now, here is the real reason why people say battle rap is dead. It's because that's what Smack and the battlers said themselves when Caffeine went out of business. Okay, so what does that matter? Well, Caffeine was giving out checks that were unheard of in battle rap. They raised over $300 million in investment capital to put this website together, and they put a lot of that money towards battle rap. And if you're curious at how much money they were losing, they went out of business pretty quick. Shout out to Caffeine. That was a great time for battle rappers and battle rap fans. But the fact it was so short-lived just goes to show that they were giving out way too much money, as in a type of amount of money that would not be normal under normal battle rap economics, which is kind of what we're used to. A company with 9 figures at their disposal to invest in battle rap is just not a normal thing, and it will never be a normal thing. But the battle rappers and Smack, they got used to those checks. And when Caffeine goes out of business, those checks stop coming in, they go back to the normal battle rap economics, and they go, oh man, this is peanuts compared to that. But sure enough, everyone seems to have come around, and is, battle rap seems to be alive to me. I don't know. In terms of the actual quote, battle rap is dead, that was something that Smack himself said. And then people kind of just ran with that narrative. Are big Caffeine paychecks dead? Probably. Is battle rap dead? Hell no, because it was never about the money, and it was never about YouTube. If I can't watch rap battles on YouTube, I'd probably go out in the street shirtless like Queensflip and just try to battle people. How are you going to tell me something is dead when I could literally go do it? Battle rap will never die, especially when you consider that so many cultures around the world have this ancient art of insult poetry, which is real, by the way. If you don't believe me, that shit's real. And even if you were to eradicate every single top tier battle rapper, every single one of them gets abducted by aliens, there's still going to be people battling. People are still going to want to battle. And there's always going to be a best guy. And there's always going to be a second best guy trying to take his spot. And if 1 million people aren't watching it, I guarantee you the people who are watching it aren't going to give a fuck about people not watching it. Like I said, we celebrated when Dumbfounded and Tantrum hit 100,000 views. If 100,000 views becomes the benchmark again for a lot of views on a battle rap won't be dead. Plus, Big K saved battle rap by taking his hat off, guys. Come on.
No money in battle rap like that right now.
Like battle rap been dead.
The money is not coming back. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Do you got cornrows?
I want to know what's under the hat. Is your hair dyed? Is it blonde? Are you blonde? Is it red? Are you a brunette? What the fuck are you? Take that fucking hat off. I better stack you won't. I better stack you won't. Take the fucking hat off. Take your hat off. Take your fucking hat off. Why you ain't take your hat off yet? I just told you I'll give you $1,000 for taking a hat off.
Your lids get tossed. I get the licking off this Kalishnikov. I left the scene, changed clothes. Came back when they shipped them off. They didn't even know it was me. I walked up with the fitted off.
And one thing I want to say is that there has kind of always been these narratives as to why battle rap is dying. People thought battle rap was dying when it was on television because it was a watered down version of battle rap. Yet you're watching this today because battle rap was on television. For me, it was Jin on 106 and Park that really got me in love with battle rap. I liked it beforehand, but it was really Jin that got me fully into it. Sure, some of you are watching this because you saw battle rap on TV. Maybe it was BET, maybe it was MTV, maybe it was Fight Club, maybe it was WRC's. Hell, maybe it was even Blaze Battle. TV was a big entry point to a lot of people's love of battle rap, and here you had people who thought that was killing battle rap, and they weren't even necessarily wrong about the points they were making. They just didn't see the big picture. There were people who thought ending the freestyle era killed battle rap. There are people who think that moving to acapella formats killed battle rap. You have people who think there's not enough money in battle rap, so it's dying. And then you have people who think there's too much money in battle rap and it's too commercial, so it's dying. And I'm not even saying anyone is wrong, but at its core, battle rap is the essence, and you can't kill that. QP vs. QP is a battle that's notable for a few reasons. The battle went down February 2014 on the Black Ice Cartel Battle League. I think this is one of the battles that you can consider a cult classic. First and foremost, this battle was a lot of people's introduction to the League Black Ice Cartel, and not only that, but people's introduction to John Doe, their editor, because this battle was just very well put together, like cinematically, with the multiple camera angles and the editing choices. It was something that a lot of people weren't used to seeing in battle rap at this time, and for a newer league to come out and put on a battle of this magnitude that looked that good, it really helped put them on the map, and they're still putting battles together to this day. Now, in terms of the battle itself, the two QPs are Quantum Physics and Clean Paper, who these days you will hear referred to as Kitchen Clean usually, and Quantum Physics still does go by the QP moniker. And I actually have a vague memory of this battle being for the name, as if the winner actually got to keep it, but my memory isn't 100% on that. So this was the first and maybe even only time two guys with the same name have battled. Quantum Physics had built a name for himself, mostly in grind time, and The Jungle. He was already in one of the most viewed battles at the time against Soulcon, so he was a very known battle rapper. Then you fast forward a little bit and Kitchen Clean starts his career under the name QP on a league called Animal House, and then goes on to battle on Grind Time, which was QP's league. And then he went on to URL, where he took on B Magic, Tay Rock, Bill Collector, amongst some others. And then he circles back to battle QP on Black Ice Cartel. Quantum Physics was upset that there were people who would look up QP rap battles and they would find battles of Kitchen Clean. So he called them out. They got their battle done. It was a great battle. And then they formed a friendship and became a team. So that whole angle and arc was kind of fun to watch, and it was a fun storyline to watch play out among two of the top tier battlers that just happened to share a name. ARP versus URL refers to an actual lawsuit, and I admit I have no details on this, and everything I know is just pure speculation. So my understanding is, as the story goes, there was some battlers that were under contract to URL, and those are exclusive contracts. I don't know if every URL contract is exclusive, but in this case they were. And then ARP, while they were under contract with URL, allegedly booked them to battle, and they did the battles. I don't even know who or which battles, to be honest, or even care. But people point to this as the reason as to why ARP just kind of ceased operations and stopped putting on big battle events. I honestly don't know, but they did put on some classic events, so shout out to ARP. Meek Mill is here for a few reasons. Obviously, he is most known for his rap beef with Drake, but he also had a beef with Cassidy and The Game, and probably others. He pretty famously put together a rap battle between one of his artists, Lil Snoop, and one of Deshaun Jackson's artists. So yeah, Deshaun Jackson had like a record label at this time. I don't know if it still exists, but he had this one artist, Retro, and Meek Mill had this guy, Lil Snoop. Rest in peace to Lil Snoop. Both Jackson and Meek Mill put up 10K each, and Lil Snoop won the battle. It was freestyles versus writtens, which is kind of cool. Lil Snoop was just a young guy, but he was really good at freestyling. He was really lost too soon. Who knows what, his career could have been. The biggest reason Meek Mill is on here is because of his early rap battles. There's a small handful of battles of him taking place in the streets of Philadelphia, and a lot of them have millions of views. Alright, now for the sake of time, I'm going to do my best just to fly through some of these quicker ones. Freestyle Friday 2 refers to Ultimate Freestyle Friday, a collaboration between BET and URL. It ran for a few seasons in tournament formats, and I'm sure you guys have already been familiar with that, but you might not know that they brought back Freestyle Friday again, and KOTD alumni Young Stitch won. No Vaseline refers to the diss track by that name by Ice Cube dissing the rest of his NWA crew. It's one of the most notorious diss tracks in history, and to me that's the first real vicious diss track. And if you ask me, it was No Vaseline that paved the way for diss tracks like Ether. Lockdown battles were a really weird thing in that brief COVID time where guys were actually rap battling via webcams, and I don't think anyone really is going to rewatch those anytime soon. WOTY refers to Women of the Year, which is the Cody Champion of the Year counterpart that's exclusive to the ladies. Disney 8 Mile refers to the movie Let It Shine, which is sort of like an 8 Mile, but like for kids. Chopping a fable, or fable chopping, or chopping fables is something that You'll hear it here and there in the battle rap community. It's something that was made up by Loaded Lux when he battled Calico. It basically means telling a story. Kendrick battle career, this refers to not his battle with Drake, but his actual real battles back home in Compton. Rhythm and Flow is a pretty popular TV show that has featured rap battles. They've had T.I., Snoop Dogg, Chance, Cardi, Eminem, Royce, Mr. Porter, and Big Sean, among others, judge their rap battles. Fake Cop refers to one of the weirdest battle tactics of all time. DMX vs. Fan, this one's kind of self-explanatory. Did you know DMX battled a fan? Well, now you do. Arsenal Cribs is something that Arsenal did in his lead up to his battle with Murda Mook. This was in response to Murda Mook's video, live stream of him getting arrested and the disarray his apartment was in. Arsenal tried to flex by showing that he lived in a nice, clean apartment. Way to go, Ars. And then he lost the battle. Bloggers is another one that feels kind of self-explanatory. There's just lots of bloggers covering battle rap, and it seems like the bloggers at times can be as big of personalities as the actual rappers. If you ask me, I think J Black is the GOAT blogger. And one of the reasons for that is his battle with Queen's Flip that went down Gnome 7 in 2017. J Black came out with the resounding victory in a one-round battle. He did a lot better than people thought he would. And his now I gotta lean with it, walking like a fiend with it thing still is rent-free in my head. This battle was actually a pretty big deal at the time to battle rap fans. It kind of set the community on fire a little bit, and people were honestly pretty impressed, and the battle was better than they thought it was going to be. Big Star is a guy from Philadelphia who you can think of him as what Smack DVD was to New York. He had 2 Raw for the Streets in Philadelphia. He contributed a lot in the early and mid-2000s, filming battles like the aforementioned Reed Dollaz vs. Kaboom. And shout out to Big Star because he has kept all his stuff archived, and you can watch all the old footage in the 2 Raw History YouTube channel, all in beautiful HD. So shout out to him for preserving that footage, and you might be surprised to learn that he was actually filming rap battles before Smack was. His videos going back to 2000 and battles going back to 2001. The very first Smack DVD battle was Jay Mills vs. Sire Castro in 2003. I don't know if Smack had filmed any battles prior to that, but in terms of existing footage today, I believe Big Star was filming before Smack. And he filmed many of the most iconic battles of this time. And it really makes me wonder, like, what kind of battles were going down in other cities around this time that just didn't have a cameraman there to film it. I've heard stories about guys in my city, and I really wish we had a Big Star around to film it. Shout out to Big Star, man. Cheesecake refers to the errand that P. Diddy sent E. Ness on the show Making the Band. O-Red voice is pretty simple. O-Red has had some issues with losing his voice in battles. That has to be a nightmare. The Uber shooting is one I don't want to give too much attention to, but that was the battle rapper Drugs. That was, I think, a little over a year ago, and he just had a battle drop on the URL app with Justice, and that's fire as fuck. Spooky Acres is what Big K's parents got exposed for owning versus A-Ward. If you don't know, Big K's parents own like a haunted Halloween farm or haunted house or something in Norfolk, Virginia, and go rate it 5 stars on Google, because shout out to Big K and his parents. Ball Slap refers to Daylight versus Low Pesci. Low Pesci was a heel in battle rap in King of the Dot, and he was known for antagonizing people, including pulling an umbrella out on Psycho. So Daylight, one of his antics was getting ball sweat on his hands and then violating Low Pesci. I can't believe Low Pesci didn't do anything. His reputation really took a hit after that, which is unfortunate because he's still kind of dealing with that to this day. And anytime anyone sees him, it's kind of the first thing people think of. I think it's really unfortunate because Low Pesci is definitely fire, and I really would love to see some more Low Pesci battles. So start respecting Low Pesci, you guys. We need him back.
I'm sorry for walking out on wrong. That shit was bad for my damn health. And to show y'all how sorry I am for the Low Pesci battle, I'm about to wipe ball sweat on my damn self.
White Boy N-Bombs, I don't even think I need to give commentary on. Just don't do it.
Views and his religious views on Facebook say that this nigga supports man's.
No, he said that. No. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, because everyone's about to go up there.
Say that then.
He said that your bio says that you said this. No, I can't say it. Say it again.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
That's my power.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Hurry up, man. Come on. All right, hold it down.
Run well, you get Run well, you come.
Go on. Come on. Yo. Say your bar. Let him say his bar. Let him say his bar. Go on.
No, it's fucking holding it down, aren't they?
All right, take control, man.
Man's sitting. What say about it? Man's not. No, say that word. Not say it.
No, listen. Wait. You lot. Hey, hold it down, please. Hold it the fuck down. Say it again. Listen, say that bar again, word for word, please.
Because no one has fucking heard this. The bar's not going to be relevant now.
All right, but say it word for word, please.
What? And
just just say it, please. Just say it. Please, just say it. Hurry up, man.
Nothing's going to happen to you. Come on.
Hurry up.
I'm not lecturing about the end. I'm not saying the end.
Go on then. Hurry up, man. Come on. Say the bar. Get the control back. Say the bar.
Right, everyone, fucking calm down.
Word for word.
Say word for word.
Yeah, you are.
Say it.
Right, shut up then. Time. Shut up then. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. As soon as this battle's done, get the fuck out the venue and go home. As soon as, don't stick around for a drink, don't stick around to talk, no, get the fuck out of here and go home.
I don't know, I think we should make him say the bar again now.
I wanted to because I was going to slap him, but he didn't want to say it, so.
And I'm not the racist one here, so y'all can't blast me. Here's a fact. Last week, he actually asked me if my girlfriend was a nigga or Packy. That's fucking trashy.
Okay. And like these other battle rappers, they talk too much, saying I can't use the N-word in this battle. My nigga, I just called you. Push your fucking pen, nigga.
He's stopping and going again, my nigga. Y'all cutting me off. That's him cutting you off, nigga. That's him, nigga. I cut nobody. I go straight through. Yo, you know I go straight through. I go straight through, my nigga. Yo. That guy nigga stop screaming, my nigga. Yo, you stop like 6 times. Niggas are screaming, my nigga. Listen, niggas like that.
So I could kill your ego, my nigga. You know what?
Yo, hey, man, no.
History, look it up in the facts. History, look it up in the facts. I thought.
Your shit in this bitch.
I thought. Look it up. It's facts. See, I ain't want to freaking tell him. Why you think you're also
you gonna stand there and let him keep fucking talking? Because I'll split his shit in this bitch. I will split your shit in this bitch. I will split your shit. I will split. Hey, I will split. Hey, stop fucking rapping. Stop. If you don't stop rapping, I'm gonna split your shit if you keep rapping. I promise you. I don't drink shit. I'm gonna split your shit. I promise you. You better stop rapping or I will split your shit in this bitch. I will end your shit. No, you ain't finishing shit. Turn this shit the fuck off. I'm sorry. Hey, turn this shit the fuck off. Hey, get the fuck out. Hey, get the fuck out. I didn't want to get the fuck out. Get your ass the fuck out. Hey, get him.
I feel like a lot of people are wondering, like, why are you focusing on this? My goal here is for people all over the world to look at me and just go like, wait a second, that's hip-hop.
SNL refers to the handful of battles that have been on Saturday Night Live. They've featured celebrities like Bad Bunny and even Brittany Murphy after the release of 8 Mile. The most famous rap battle is probably the Kyle vs. Kanye West, where Kanye West rapped his bars from I Love Kanye from the album Life of Pablo. To me, by far the funniest one was the rap battle that featured Snoop Dogg rapping from a wheelchair, where he just rapped about how much being in a wheelchair sucks and how his mom was dead, and things to just garner sympathy from the crowd that really reminded me of a certain few battles that took place around that same time that sketch came out that were definitely decided due to sympathy votes. DDA refers to Death Dealers Anonymous, a hip-hop group featuring the battle rappers Dirtbag Dan and Reverse Live. They earned their way on this iceberg for having some of the most streams of any battle rap affiliated music ever, but also for the fact that they battled each other at Tourette's. Good's dad refers to the fact that Good's dad is allegedly white, and Goods is allegedly embarrassed by it, and Calico will tell you all about that.
You shot out of a honky dick.
Long Banana refers to a line said by Prep to Lotta Zay, and it's probably the most notorious pause bar in battle rap history.
I approach you like, what's up? And I got a long banana. Pause. 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 That was pause. That was pause. That was pause. I take that. That was pause. It's freestyle. I was pause. It was pause. I take that. It was free. It was free. I tell y'all. It was free. It was pause. It was pause. I promise you. Listen. I take that. I take that. I'll take that one.
Yo, chill. We got a little bit of time. Chill. Yo, be quiet.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that. That's if it was a freestyle. I'll take that. Listen. You can't beat me. I can't win, yo. I can't win. I can't win.
Chill.
I can't win, yo. I can't win.
Yo, chill. We got a limited amount of time to be in here. We gotta hurry up.
It's cool. It's cool. If I don't win in the building, that's something I get on the camera. This extendo is crazy on this chopper. This the longest hammer. You came with 4 niggas? Well, 4 getting every round like Tone Montana. Wait.
Seasoned is a word to describe somebody who is well versed in battle rap and is able to have cohesive and nuanced opinions that should be respected. I'm sure a lot of y'all watching this are seasoned, so shout out to you. Soulcon is a battle rapper who was once the most viewed and most popular battle rappers in the grind time era. He's one of the few, if not only guy to have a URL crowd chanting his name. There was a time when Soulcon was kind of on top of the battle rap universe, but he's on here because he was notoriously known for having homophobic bars, which, to be fair, a lot of battle rappers were at the time, especially on the grind time side of things. And I'm not hating, I'm just spitting facts. So I'm not going to hold Soulcon for having any sort of dated homophobic bars when pretty much everyone did. But he earned his spot here for coming out as bisexual. Shout out to Soulcon. What a tangled web we weave. And if y'all want to check out an underground classic, check out the album Soul Like Gone.
This broke back shit you're pulling, fuckboy, isn't pride, but this is why. But this is why you swing both ways like a saloon door, cause for dudes you're easy to get inside. What?
Hey, what do y'all want to happen with this battle? Y'all want to see it? Alright then, alright, y'all convince me.
OT is something that used to be possible during battles. Judges felt like no one was a clear winner. They would get an overtime round, and this happened in other leagues, not just grind time. I think WRC's normalized overtime, but Fight Club also featured overtimes, and it was a semi-normal thing during freestyle battles. If it was a close battle, the crowd would sometimes chant one more round, and then they would get an overtime round. I think it's fun. I think we should bring it back, but I think sadly very few battlers would be open to that. Young Ill vs. Conceited is one of the more interesting vaulted battles. It was vaulted by Smack. It took place in 2012. The original reason it was vaulted was because they marketed the event as having an exclusive battle that wouldn't be on YouTube, so they were kind of just honoring that. Where it gets interesting is they actually screened the battle at Summer Madness 2 for the fans at the venue. So it was some pretty creative marketing by URL actually to vault it. However, as the years went by, kind of people were just wondering, can you release it now? Like, still to this day, people ask for this battle, and they actually have said recently, within the past couple of years, that they are planning to release it, but still, as I'm recording this in February 2026, it's still not released, and I don't know if we're ever going to see it released. To be honest, at this point, I think maybe they lost it. Like, I can't imagine why it's not released by now. But either way, it's just a chapter of URL history, and it's possibly lost media at this point. I really hope one day we can see it. The prep group chat situation is one that he hasn't recovered from and maybe never will. Basically, he had a fake group chat involving battle rappers, making it look like battle rappers were saying things that they weren't, and he explained it in a way that didn't make any sense, and he kind of lost a lot of respect that day. Time limits are something that used to be a staple of rap battles, and these days are kind of just gone the wayside for several reasons. For one reason, battle rap crowd reactions have gotten longer and just taking up more time of the round. Another one is rappers just want to rap long rounds because the more you rap, the more likely you are to win the battle, usually anyway. They are still timed, and like, battle rappers will agree to a time, but it's very rare that it's actually enforced. People have their own opinions on it. I'm kind of indifferent, to be honest. But I do feel like battle rap could benefit from having shorter rounds. I don't mind a long main event, but I don't think every battle on a card needs to be 30 to 40 minutes long. But I might be in the minority in that.
And on top, you know how I know this guy's eager and I'm in his head like a fucking mind reader? Because now he's bitching out over here talking to Marathon, trying to play timekeeper. You know what? I'll put blood all over that nice t-shirt, turn around and use your fucking white beater as my knife cleaner. Let's go. West Coast, man.
Calm the fuck down. That is not the rule. That ain't the rule. No. That ain't the rule. And that's when I realized you really got a problem with time.
Math Hoffa vs. Serious Jones actually refers to a few battles, believe it or not. These guys battled for the first time in 2004, and that battle is lost media, but they had a rematch in 2013. This battle also was vaulted because Serious Jones mockingly reacted to a line that didn't get any reaction from the crowd. Math Hoffa took it personally and punched him in the face, marking it the second time that Math Hoffa punched someone during a battle. In 2019, they would eventually have a battle actually released on video. And one thing I'm just realizing now that's really odd about this battle is if you watch the first opening bars of Serious Jones, there's some weird, like, royalty-free, I guess, music playing. I don't understand why. So you pretty much can't hear, like, 2 minutes of his first round. It's really, really odd. Because that definitely was not there when the battle got released. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, in 2013, Math Hoffa also battled Dose for a second time. He didn't punch him in the face, which was nice to see. Ab-Soul has earned his spot on here for being maybe the only modern studio rapper who can actually hold their own against a battle rapper, and he exhibited this against Daylight. In track number 15 on his album These Days, about a 4.5 minute song will play, and then after that he has a full battle with Daylight where it's pretty debatable. He does a great job. I would love to see Ab-Soul in another battle. I don't think it's anything we're ever going to see. I really enjoy his music. I think he's fire as hell. The BBC is on here because A lot of Americans, I think, would be surprised to learn that BBC actually features rap battles on the show The Rap Game. We did a historical World War I rap battle and even featured Don't Flop battles on BBC One Extra. Defense is a pretty interesting concept in battle rap that I think a lot of casual fans would overlook. 50% of every rap battle, a battler will be on defense, and whether you're mean mugging like Big K or smiling like Charlie Clips, it's all a part of the strategy and part of the whole package of being a battler. If a battle rapper has a moment of great defense, it can really deflect, and if a battle rapper has a moment of poor defense, it can really lose them a battle. If the crowd sees you getting emotional from a bar, it's going to hit a lot harder. Some guys have better defense than others. I've always thought Arsenal has had a pretty good defense, but it is definitely something to consider if you are a battle rapper. The craziest defense is probably Junie J, who set up like a little stove and started cooking eggs while his opponent Rio was rapping. And part of me feels like if battle rappers kind of lean into that sort of distracting style of defense, like things could get really, really weird. Diz vs. Crooked I is one of those hypothetical battles that was supposed to go down on GTX. Unfortunately, it didn't because the funding fell through and it had something to do with cryptocurrency crashing. I don't know. I'm not about to look it up, but you can feel free to. I think it's kind of unfortunate that GTX kind of just had that one big event and fell off. I thought it was going to be really cool to see Crooked I in a battle. Hopefully he still one day gets in one. Even with Disaster, would be cool to see that happen, but fortunately we didn't get that battle when we were supposed to. Scribble Jam was an iconic freestyle tournament hosted every single year in Ohio. It ran from 96 to 2008, and beyond MC battles, it featured DJ battles, breakdancing battles, and graffiti battles. Some participants you may have heard of from Scribble Jam would be Eminem, Idea, Brother Ali, Slug, Ilmac, Rhymefest, Thesaurus, Iron Solomon, Pass, Juice, Dose One, No Can Do, Sage Francis, Reef the Lost Cause, and it featured a lot more battlers, including some that you guys might be surprised. Like in 2008, Cheddar Cheese and Kid Twist from KOTD participated, and in 2001, Jin participated. This was sort of the annual tournament that the best regional guys would come to determine the sort of grand champion of the freestyle era, at least in my eyes. The Scribble Jam title is probably the most prestigious thing you could win during this era. This is a tournament that some of the best freestylers of all time participated in. It also features some of the greatest freestyle battles of all time. And if you are a fan of Scribble Jam, you'll be happy to hear that there's an upcoming documentary. Pushed off stage. This is something that's actually happened a couple times. Sometimes an opponent will push a guy off a stage. Sometimes T-Top will do his bowling ball impression. Sometimes a guy not even affiliated with the battle will jump on stage and then get pushed off. To me, what solidified getting pushed off stage on this iceberg was JC in his battle against Swamp. If you ask me, if you get pushed off stage, you almost lose a battle by default. That's just kind of crazy. But he somehow managed to farm aura while getting pushed off stage. He landed on his feet and just fired up the crowd. It was cool. But I don't know what that dude was thinking, pushing JC from behind. That's crazy. Trick Trick refers to the rapper Trick Trick, who was in the crowd during Arsenal vs. Calico. This battle went down in Detroit. Before this battle, Shotgun Suge had famously dissed Proof and Detroit in his battle against Calico. Apparently, in the venue before this battle, Trick Trick and Arsenal ran into each other. Trick Trick asked Arsenal if he was friends with Shotgun Suge. He said he didn't know him. Fast forward a little bit to the battle. Arsenal name drops Shotgun Suge, and then Trick Trick gets worked up thinking like, hey, I thought I didn't know him. And a lot of people look at that situation as Trick Trick kind of punking Arsenal. I don't think any of that was too big a deal, to be honest. New Jersey Twerk versus Norbs refers to Twerk actually having a physical fight with Norbs where he pretty much just beat the shit out of him. Norbs was an employee working for URL. There's rumors as to what started the beef. I don't know if it was battle rap related, but Norbs also had a falling out with URL. Maybe that's another reason why Twerk was mad at him, but either way, Norbs got his ass kicked. And now Norbs has like a boxing channel on YouTube, which is kind of funny. Disaster vs. Real Sick is a battle that went down on Summer Madness 13 on URL and is kind of the reason why Disaster kind of faded a little bit into obscurity, although he now has a battle announced with Sharon at World Domination, which if he wins that, he's probably right back in the mix for a big battle. But this battle did quite a bit of harm to his reputation. Not only did he wear some weird muscle suit during the battle, but he also said the N-word. Now, it wasn't just a straight-up N-bomb. He said the one, for brown folks, that sand N-word, and the crowd still wasn't having it, and he kind of got booed off stage, and it really did a lot of damage to his reputation. But I think a lot of it kind of gets lost on just the N-word thing. Like, I think Real Sick himself having written about that exact thing and then Disaster doing it kind of elevated the tension, I guess, around it. The crowd was just hostile to Diz, and they were even booing him in his first round. So it wasn't surprising to see the crowd not want him to finish his third, although I think if he got that far, we might as well have seen the conclusion of it, Either way, this was an ugly body bag, one that Disaster has yet to recover from. However, a win over Sharon could really do a lot of good for his career, and I could honestly see it happening. I really don't see a Sharon body bag in the works here. Time will tell, so if you're watching this after that battle, come and clown me if I'm wrong. League versus League is a sort of shtick that's kind of been around battle rap ever since there's been leagues. Even battles like Awkwards versus Arsenal kind of seemed like Fight Club versus Grind Time. There was Grind Time versus KOTD battles, and there's been beef between battle leagues like KOTD and Don't Flop and RBE and URL. The League versus League is kind of just like some staple of battle rap.
Earn and Ash is an iconic reach by, which honestly is wordplay you could probably get away with, but just not the way he delivered it. Sharon setups refer to the weird way that Sharon notoriously sets up his punchlines, and if it's something you haven't noticed after watching a Sharon battle, that is something I straight up just doubt. Light is a word that battle rappers like to use after saying something that's actually fire. They like to tell their opponent that it's light, which always struck me as odd. I prefer Gwitty's tactic of saying a bad part and telling you it's nasty. I don't know if this was started by Tay Rock, but he definitely popularized it. AOTI refers to King of the Instrumentals, which was supposed to be a award and maybe will be in the future. I think this was something that was in response to KOTD announcing Beatdown, but it seems like it's been taking that a little minute to get off the ground, so maybe that's why this is also put on pause. The idea is that's basically Cody, but for on-beat battles. I kind of feel like it's one of those things everyone forgot about. Pig a 9 is just something fun that New Jersey Twerk made up. 9 being a gun, obviously, and obviously a play on the whole gun so big thing, something that people quote pretty frequently. Lion's Den was a league that was actually run by Loaded Lux, and I think that this league is a big reason why Loaded Lux kind of has a head above others in the GOAT discussion. On top of being a great performer with great performances and great pen, he had this league kind of in the transitionary sort of YouTube era where he was selling DVDs, and a lot of battlers like Charlie Clips and Tay Rock were introduced through the Lion's Den. Surf vs. Day is a part of Gladiator School, Snoop Dogg's Battle League, where Sue Surf battled Daylight, and the editor just, I don't even know what to call it. The whole battle was full of CGI, and it's almost unwatchable as an actual battle, which is kind of crazy considering the two guys battling. J2 is on here for being the first, prominent, outwardly gay battle rapper. Shout out to him. John vs. Jack Boy is on here for being one of the biggest body bags in history, including some pretty infamous props and antic-like tactics used by John, and Jack Boy kind of had a meltdown and took his clothes off, and he actually ran out of the battle and never did his third round. Red Bull refers to the energy drink company. If you don't know, they put on some of the biggest battles actually in stadiums, and they put on battles all across the world, most prominently in Mexico, but they put on battles in America as well.
So many identities over the years. You've had Idea, and then you had a hard rock band, and you also had that Oliver Hart project. Are you still trying to find yourself at the age you're at?
Yeah, I am. I think that a person, essentially dies when they think that they found themselves, Unless you want to admit that you yourself are not an individual and are just part of a whole movement of ideas and thought and culture and humanity and furthermore the universe and everything. Unless you really feel like that and you're walking through walls, you are always trying to find yourself. And it's usually a person who believes that they've found the answer, found the end, that there actually is a psychological end. And then what's the point of doing anything after that? Isn't a person just a collection of their mistakes and also their kind of undoing of their mistakes? I mean, what else are you? You're always just the reaction to the bad parts of yourself, I think. And I think that's what is kind of a driving motivation behind any human being that wants to continue to grow and live life, is they're looking at their flaws and trying to go beyond them.
Idea was one of the most layered and deep artists that I've ever had the pleasure in indulging in the work of. Most notably as a battle rapper, he won the 2000 Blaze Battle and the 1999 Scribble Jam champion. Many people look at Idea as one of the greatest freestylers ever and one of the most dangerous freestyle battle MCs of all time, but he was so much more than that. Despite his career being cut short due to his untimely demise, he put together one of the most impressive catalogs of a discography of any battle rapper ever, including Eminem. And he was a very deep and philosophical thinker, and his music reflected that. Despite there being a very limited number of interviews with Idea, he said some of the most profound things that I've heard anyone say that ring in my head on a near daily basis. One video I would love to make one day is really diving deep into the philosophy of Idea. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that on a video like this, and it's going to be really difficult to do Idea justice in a limited time. But what I would like to show you guys is one example of what made him one of the greatest freestylers of all time. It's a clip of him rapping in a van. Friend had asked him to imitate the style that Smooth the Hustler used on his song Broken Language featuring Trigger the Gambler. It's a fantastic song, and they start almost every bar with the word the, and then follow it with like a slant rhyme or a near rhyme. And it's a very cool style. The guy filming Idea rapping tells him to do the Broken Language style, and the pocket that Idea gets in might be the filthiest pocket I've ever seen anyone ever be in a freestyle.
I'm greater, the time taker, the rhyme innovator, the earth, space, and time quaker. Hustle style, broken. Either way you go, it broken language. Can't no one hang with the flow is strange. Broken language style. It's the ill talker. I kill walkers, spill skills, still pill popper, the ill watcher. The MC killer, the knee filler, the beat killer, the iller. The motherfucking caterpillar turn into a butterfly. Shutter guys, shut your eyes while I kill her. These motherfucking rappers are just fillers. This nigga's insane. This nigga's insane, man. Yo, that's your style.
To me, Idea excelled at the most difficult part of freestyling, which was stream of consciousness. That's where people start to lose steam, and that's why you'll see so many prominent freestylers either ask for objects or ask for words to prompt them. Idea didn't need anything other than his brain and his voice, and he made magic every single time. If you ask me, what really solidifies his place as one of the greatest freestylers of all time is the work he did with his band Face Candy. It's a full band that released live albums of all freestyled material. Like, nobody does that shit, and it was amazing. Like, go back and listen to it. He had alter egos like Oliver Hart and rock bands like Carbon Carousel. He was never afraid to pursue what he felt compelled to as an artist, and I find that very inspiring. And he's one of those artists that you just can't help but wonder where he would be today and what his discography might look like if he was still with us. It breaks my heart to say that we'll never know. Rest in peace, Idea.
I miss Mikey, cause that's the way it is. You start to lose a friend, and you don't wanna live. You gotta give it time.